the extent of like your experimentation with like recreational drugs? I don't know if you want to talk about it here, but
Just that one time where my guys at the fight were like, "Yo, coach, you should smoke with us," and yeah, it was quite the experience, man. I'm not gonna lie. It was like
yeah.
like a loss of not consciousness. I wouldn't say I like pass out or anything, but I kept forgetting like every like 1 or 2 minutes.
Or were you smoking PCP? What do you mean consciousness, bro?
No, they
Were you on acid? What were you doing?
they had me stare. They had me out the window, butt naked, dude, just with my arms up, dude, like in a
I was
hotel.
gonna say that's hardcore, bro.
Yeah, no, it's just been that. It's just been like carts and stuff like that. I think they were like brass knuckles or something. It was cool.
Okay,
It was quite
I
the
like
experience.
cards. Cards are
It
cool.
helps me with my melatonin, though.
I would assume, yeah.
Yeah, it helps me go to sleep. Yeah, you're probably gonna have to one day teach me. What's up? Welcome back. It's Sunday night. You're here with the Average Boys podcast. It's your boy Crispy, and I am here with one of my OG co-hosts. Actually, now usually it's like David or Nico. Sometimes Michael Bedencourt when he's around, but like I got Brian in the house. He's off work today. Brian D from New Jersey. What is up, my
Yes,
dude?
sir, yes, sir. You know what? We should get all these guys on for like one big show.
One
Like I
big
think that
show.
would be cool. I think that would be an awesome idea.
It's really crazy because like Mark from the Chew and New podcast has been trying to set up like a huge show. David's trying to go at it too. And we're just trying to get all these people. I think just scheduling because like we had, Mark and Chew, right, from Chew and New podcast.
Yeah.
And then we've had Del Guzman, which is from the comic menu. We've had a pretty good cast of characters come in and help us out these last couple of years and jump in and become really good friends with and have some conversations. Adding new to the cut, Nico Cantu now. We were just hanging out yesterday at United Collectors Expo. He was out there. He had a good show. He was out there selling, man. He did way better than a lot of us. So he was out there putting it on. And
yeah, I'll shine you, huh?
Yeah, he outshined everybody, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. Shout out to Nico, man. But even cooler than that is like we were talking to him, like, it's cool. Like Nico kind of jumped on just as a person who was listening to us, listening to the podcast. Same thing with like listening to David's at the Adams Collectibles podcast and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's jumped on with you guys, like talking shit in the comments and kind of like doing stuff. And you've even had the opportunity to kind of like cut the rug with him too and have a good time and stuff. He's a good cat.
Yeah.
And we were telling him like, hey man, like if you ever decide to do your own podcast too, like I think it'd be pretty good. He has a pretty good voice. He carries himself very well online. Like, so we're kind of encouraging him. So he's been kind of like, hey man, I was really thinking about it like yesterday. And, we may end up getting a cool, Nico Cantu show coming up soon, man. So
that would be dope.
That'd be pretty
that
cool.
Would be dope.
And I told him like, hey man, we'd be about it. And I was kind of telling him the rundown, like here in the Valley, like when it comes to like podcasting and stuff, a lot of people cover like, the music scene or like the car scene or like it's literally a lot of the music scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then other than that, people jump into like the horror or conspiracy style podcastings. And like with us at the Average Boys, like we were one of the first people that brought in like a really big, like nerd centric podcast. And then we had a couple of people follow us in that nature too. So, the nerd scene is kind of like picking up fairly well down here when it comes to podcasting. And I was kind of like, so what is it like that you would want to be into? And, I was just popping off some ideas and telling him like, you know what, like right now it's like we do a really good nerd podcast. And then David with Adams Collectibles does a really good podcast for nerd stuff too. And then all of us kind of like cross engage and collab together. So it kind of feels like when we jump on, you know what, I told David too, I was like, you got to hit up Brian for like a Friday night and get Brian on the show with you too, man. And you guys just throw it down on his show because I feel like all of us kind of like have a really good personality when it comes to the conversations that we bring to the table and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And like for you and me, like there'll be days where you'll come in and be like, yo, this show was really good. And I'll be like, and then we'll bounce off of each other from there. Right. And then
it works.
The same way. So it works really good. And I think it kind of does like it's this really cool thing that from like, it starts on Friday and ends on Sunday with us.
Mm-hmm.
Like the conversation, just like, it starts Friday and it's like, all right, cool. Like the beginning of the weekend. And then when Sunday comes along, it's like, whoa, shit popped off real crazy. Like in the last 2 days. So I don't know. It feels pretty good to have it in this kind of format with another podcast and like several other people jumping in and stuff like that. So I would love to see if like I can get them to kind of like send you or Triggs an invite. I know Triggs been like MIA for like months already, dude. That dude's like
A busy man. It's a
yeah, he's
busy
just in
man.
the wind, man. He's just
That's
in the
cooking.
wind somewhere. But yeah, he's
That's
out there hustling. We all figured that Sundays were going to be pretty like, up and down when it comes to us changing our days out. But been acclimated pretty good, been doing very well. But yeah. And Brian, I know that you usually work on Sundays. Today you're off. So like tell us how's everything been going for you, man?
Everything is good. I really can't complain much. First off, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Been
Mother's
spending
Day.
the better part, spending the better part of my day wishing everybody a happy Mother's Day. So shout out to all the moms out there. You guys are amazing. Couldn't be here without you guys.
Yep.
Other than that, I mean, I really don't have much to. I mean, no news is good news in my book usually, so I don't have much to worry about. I had the day off today, which is good. And like I said to you on and off camera, dude, if I'm not doing anything on a Sunday, I'm not doing anything else but being here with us, with everybody. You know what? We got to get Michael Betancourt back on here, man. Like I love the banter that I have with that guy, man.
And then not only that, the Star Wars is like picking up.
And I was gonna say, there's a lot of Star Wars stuff that's going on right now, and I would love to get his perspective on things.
Do that. I mean, of course, probably mentioning the idea of like the Alkalite coming back, right?
Yeah.
So the Alkalite's going to be popping off.
Are you excited about that?
I mean, there's some parts that I am. I'm excited to at least get some Star Wars content. What I'm not excited is, I mean, there's a lot of like upwards talk of all the shit that, has been kind of being implemented into Star Wars. But again, like it's one of those things like we really need the opportunity to let these guys cook and see what they're going to make. Because again, like how is it that they're going to grow if they don't get away from the Skywalker saga? You know what I mean? Like that's my thing. Like we've talked about it before where we've always wanted this idea for them to move away from that.
You know what I mean? Saying that, but it's not. They can't. They're in a situation. It's not hard. It's impossible. They can't. They have to stick with it. If they're going to continue down this Rey path, I mean, it's still kind of hand in hand with it's still hand in hand with the Skywalker
saga and stuff like that.
Saga and all that stuff. But yeah, man, I mean, it's kind of impossible. They have to stick to it.
Derpy, welcome to the show. And yes, we did went by and visited. Well, I went by and visited my mom, and Brian just said like he's been telling moms Happy Mother's Day all day.
Yeah, all the moms.
All of them. We love you, moms. Yeah. We love you. But yeah, that's absolutely correct. But with the Alkalite show, this is going to deal with, I think it said like 30 years before the prequels.
Mm-hmm,
so we're looking at like the cusp end of the High Republic era. And it's like, we may see some characters in their younger ages from the prequels, which I'm kind of hoping that they do. Like they kind of like mend it into the prequels a little bit. So
I mean,
we may see
at the base of this, yeah, we're looking for like a good story, but I was gonna say, yeah, I think Derby is right because you said 30.
Closer to 100. I thought it was like 30 or 40 years above it.
Yeah, that didn't sound right. It is something around like 100, but I was gonna say, that just kind of like threw me off a little bit. But yeah, I'm kind of excited. You know what? I remember what I was gonna say. So, I think that's what everyone is looking forward to is just like the cameos and the younger versions of our favorite Jedi and. Mm-hmm. Sith lords and all that stuff. So like, yeah, the story's gonna have to be good, but you're also gonna have to throw that in there to satisfy people.
Because I was gonna say, like, I thought this series was based in the High Republic era, which was hundreds of years before the Skywalker saga or whatnot, right? Which is the run of the Jedi or whatnot. When they became like the higher, they weren't like the white robes and gold aesthetic. They were more monkish, mm-hmm. like a religious sect, right? But if I'm not mistaken, I think this being that it's part of like one of the comic book eras, the High Republic comic book, I thought it was at the very end of it, which was like a 50 to 40 year gap between that. Like I thought it was like, I know that the High Republic was like years before and it was a reign, but I wanted to say it was like at the very end, a couple of like you said, like maybe it's within 100 years, maybe. But I was going to say, like, what are the odds we get like a child or like a high school variation of like Emperor Palpatine? You know what I mean? Like him kind of like show his teeth kind of thing, right? Like it'd be pretty cool if we got it. Like, I mean, of course, Yoda should somewhat be in there as a younger character.
I was
Yoda's
gonna
like
say the one that makes sense the most is probably Yoda because
Yoda.
that guy's hundreds of years old.
Mm-hmm.
Palpatine, 100 years old. He still might still be a little bit older because I don't know how old that guy is, but yeah, Yoda for sure.
I'm pretty excited to see what they're gonna do. But of course, like, there's always talks. From what I've heard, I don't know if you've like kind of like dwelled into the news of the show, but it's gonna be about like two twins. One of them's good and bad. One of them might be the Sith. A lot of people are talking bad about the mask that they showed of the Sith character with teeth, like with a smiley face. Like, there's a lot. I don't think it's a bad design. The only thing I'm scared of is that they take ideas from like the Legends characters and just give them to like these random characters no one cares about. Like there was like, there's a character, I forgot his name off the top of my head, but there was one of them that was like a character that wore he had a helmet, full helmet. I just forgot their name off the top of my head. I can't believe I forgot it. But they were a part of the Force. Like they were just a creature created out of a ripple in the Force.
Okay.
And the same thing with the twins. That was from Knights of the Old Republic. That was the two boy twins that one of them becomes a Sith, one of them becomes a Jedi or whatnot. Jedi. I'm kind of like, I just don't want them to like regurgitate assets like that and just give it to these random characters just to like, oh, look at us. Like, this is a cool idea. Look at what we created. And then try to take that as like their own, like, oh, look at my original idea. And they're just taking shit and fucking messing it up. You know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that's fair because Marvel does it all the time. Like,
oh yeah, well, I mean, but that's Marvel's,
and we love them for it, so that's not fair. Like, I get it. It's easy to shit on Star Wars and pick and nit and like pick and choose whatever we want to nitpick at that specific time, but that's not something that's going to turn me away from it. Like, as long as they do it in a way that's interesting and in a way that's entertaining, I'm all for it. You can't knock Star Wars for doing that when Marvel does it.
When Marvel does it all the time.
Every movie. Yeah.
Derpy says, I'll judge it when it drops, but when the trailer's writing has me not as hyped as for it, with the clip I saw in theaters from The Phantom Menace, got me more optimistic because the choreography action was pretty cool. Yeah, they're starting to implement a lot more of like the martial arts stuff, right? Like they're kind of like coasting that with like a lot of like the wire fu, I guess, which has been not as seen in Star Wars. I would say it was pretty cool with Donnie Yen's character when he came in Rogue One. They added like a little bit of the wire fu, right? Well, kind of, but it was short lived, right?
But I was gonna say that it even predates that. I think if you go all the way back to the prequels, it was heavily influenced by martial arts. So,
well, yeah, the more of the spinning and like the acrobatic sequences,
or even just the saber fights have been
the saber fighting and stuff.
Yeah, it's been, like I said, it's been around for a very long time.
Yeah. I'm kind of excited to see it. I mean, the action sequences look pretty good, and like I said, it's just I want something fresh. I want something new, and for them to be going off of like away from the Skywalker saga from so many years before, like I'm pretty cool with that, man. I'm pretty cool. I don't know what to expect, so yeah, that makes it a little bit cooler, I guess, making it not expectable or whatever. But yeah. That'll be Alkalite, and now we're gonna go into our regular conversations, my man.
That wasn't even on the docket yet.
Yeah, that wasn't even on the fucking talking point, but that was cool though, man. First thing we're gonna talk about.
You know what? I like that. I like that back and forth. I like that back and forth because it shows that we can have a dialogue about Star Wars and not be toxic as fuck.
Yeah, it
can happen. Like it can be done.
Check out who made the show today, man. Check out who made it into the show.
All right. What up?
Word up, Nico, man. How'd it go, man?
Hey, what's up, Chris?
Going on?
How's it going? You made it out. You got to go hang out with your family. Happy Mother's Day to your family.
Yeah, man. I was hanging out with the in-laws right now. Since she's real sick, she's got the whole cancer thing going on. My girl wanted to go spend some time with her. So I told you and I told David, just let Chris know I'm gonna be running a little late.
Oh, it's good, man. It's good. I sent you a message, and I was just hoping that you were going to be okay. I didn't want you to be rushing and thinking that, we want you to spend time with your family and stuff. And I'm just so happy you get to make it on and kind of converse with this stuff. And we got Brian on the show today too. So I know you and Brian get to throw some comments and have a good time online. So it's good to have you both in the show, man. See, look at Nico's like, I'm watching you, Brian. I'm watching you. That's funny. Well, good. Nico, it's good to have you on the show. And yeah, right now we're about to jump into the first part of the conversation. Right now we're talking about the Alkalite show that's going to be dropping, which is a Star Wars show. It's coming out in about a month. I want to say about a month. They're already dropping some really nice. They dropped a really nice trailer a couple weeks ago, and yeah. What's your kind of thought on the Alkalite show, man? Is it something you're excited for? Is it something you're kind of doping for or nothing?
Yeah, actually, I believe me and David talked about it on one of his shows. I got really excited because it shows more aspect of like hand-to-hand combat, especially in the trailer. You know, because it's like I've always said it, man. Like to me, growing up as a kid, I always thought like Jedis and stuff like that were more of like futuristic ninjas in a sense, like like samurais or something. So they never really got to use. They're always using the Force, but actual hand-to-hand combat, physical stuff, like you see them doing their little somersaults, their flips here and there, kind of like Yoda. But yeah, dude, like the whole hand-to-hand is completely different. I think it's going to be something that like something new, something that we're not really used to seeing in especially in Star Wars. Like we're always seeing the laser guns, the lightsaber battles, stuff like that. But when it came to actual physical contact, it wasn't really much to do. Like I don't know, I'm excited for it. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, we were just talking. Actually, we were just covering the same concepts. I was talking about how they're implementing more of like the martial arts style fight scenes, the wire fu and all that stuff. And yeah, it's pretty much. And Brian made a good comment too, saying that like, well, it's been pretty prevalent that the fight scenes have changed to a little bit more of like that, that flair and that pizzazz ever since the prequels. Because we remember back in the day when they had the original trilogy, George Lucas was very serious about it being just very direct, very like very knights style fighting. Yeah. And then when the prequels came along is when they started to add like the whole flair of the spinning sabers and doing a lot of that stuff. They brought in Ray Parks.
Dude, I remember as a young teenager going to the theater, and it was the premiere. Dude, everybody was in cosplay. You had Wookiees there. You had Jedis. You had Stormtroopers.
Always, man.
Yeah, dude. And it's like people were so excited. But, dude, when Darth Maul had that fucking double, as soon as he busted out the double, everybody made a big old fucking thing in the theater.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of hoping for, man. I'm kind of hoping that the Alkalite is going to be able to bring in like that type of vibe. Right, I'm like that type of cool, like the wow. I want them to bring in like a really cool wow factor.
Yeah,
very cool.
Completely off topic, bro. It's something that we were talking about at work. It's because one of my coworkers was talking about that new Planet of the Apes movie that he went to go watch it, and he said it was pretty good, right? And I asked him like 1 out of 10, what did you think about it? And he's like, I give it a solid 8, maybe 7.5, 8, somewhere around there. I'm like, oh, okay. So we were there talking. And it just jumped to another conversation. Obviously, like me, I'm always jumping everywhere. And I asked him, I'm like, this is kind of stupid, but what's your go-to when you go to a theater? And then he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, like what kind of snacks do you normally get at the theater? And he's like, oh, dude, the basics, popcorn and sodas and maybe a candy here and there. Okay. I'm like, all right. I'm like, you don't do the whole pickle thing? And he's like, nah, dude. He's like, I swear to God. He's like,
Brian's face just changed so fast when you said pickle.
This is we have stumbled into gold really quick.
Yes, because the thing is, no other state other than Texas serves pickles in the theaters.
What?
Like outside of the state of Texas, they do not sell pickles in the theater.
I don't know why they sell pickles inside the state of Texas, bro. Like that's weird. You guys are just sitting there eating pickles, watching a movie, bro.
Yeah.
Is that true? That can't be true. No, Brian, you guys don't sell pickles at your theater? What the fuck?
We don't serve pickles at movie theaters around here.
Dude, I swear to God, dude, it's only a state of Texas thing. We are the ones that do that.
Go
outside of the state of Texas.
Okay, wait, I gotta hear Brian's take on this because we gotta be.
No, you know what? Because I'm not gonna be responsible for pissing off an entire state, let alone my friends.
Well, we're the odd man out.
As far as I'm concerned, you guys can eat whatever the fuck you guys want at a movie theater. We just don't do that over here. But I have a better. No, what's wild is that you guys eat the shit. I have a better question. The better question is what besides the pickles. All right, pause. What do you guys eat at a movie theater? What is your go-to? Like, what do you guys like to have?
That's a good question.
First off, it's a fucking pickle.
No.
You can't say that out loud. Like,
okay. Look, straight up, it's a regular Coke, a Coca-Cola, bucket of popcorn, depending on the candy, because some people.
It's the craziest thing I've ever heard someone say, dude.
Dude, you didn't know about that?
I 100% am not fucking around. This is the first time I've ever heard that Texas is the only state that sells pickles.
There are some things about each state that you should just internally know that no other state does this. I don't know why pickles in the movie theater wasn't one of those that popped in your head for you.
Because pickles and popcorn go really well together.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, you're like, I fucking died.
You know what? I'm just gonna gloss over that statement. That didn't even compute in my head. Like it didn't even register in my head like what you said.
Holy
so
shit,
just like,
that's wild.
Okay, so yeah, like and we were talking about this, and he's like, yeah, man, and I'm like, so you don't eat pickles while you're watching a movie, like maybe take a bite out of the pickle, they're eating popcorn and drinking a soda. He's like, nah, dude. He's like, I swear to God, he's like, I'm not joking. He's like, I've tried it as a little kid. He's like, I hate fucking pickles. I was like, what?
You have to be a pickle person. Yeah, I think that's what it is. At the base of this, I think that's my real problem with it. I'm just not a pickle person. Maybe that's
okay. So you just don't like pickles in general, then? And like not even on your hamburger, Brian, or anything like that.
I gotta be in the mood. Sometimes it's just in the way. I gotta be in the mood.
Okay. Well, deeper question.
Go for it.
What flavor? Because they have like kosher pickles, sour pickles, dill pickles, like.
Oh no, I just go straight dill pickles.
Brian, did you even know there's different flavors of this shit? Or
I can honestly say I didn't. I've never cared to figure out if there were more.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, well, I mean, shit,
kinds of pickles. That's just me. Again, I'm a pickle person. I'm not into the culture. You guys, that's your culture, man. I don't know.
Damn, that's crazy as fuck.
Yeah.
Brian, you got to try that one day though. Pickles and popcorn.
I can't promise you, but if it's the right
time, it's got to be. I get the thing where it's got to be like the right time. The way I recommend, I know it sounds kind of weird, is just at home get a bag of popcorn that you can microwave, and just get a pickle, a half of one, and just dice it into little circles, and for every couple pickles, just for one pickle, take a couple popcorn. And I'm
gonna try that when I'm watching a movie I really don't care about, but I refuse to let your concoction ruin my movie experience. I'm just gonna say, you know what? Maybe I'll give it a maybe. It's
got to be a try. It's got to be a try. That's like Flaming Hots and cheese, man. You guys do Flaming Hots and cheese, right?
We don't do it here, but I am aware of it.
Oh, that, yeah.
Like Flaming Hots and cheese. I'm not a big Flaming Hot person. Pause.
Okay. What about like Takis and shit?
See, I'm not a big Taki person. I'm not a big Flaming Cheeto. I think it tastes weird. It tastes like wax to me.
Wax?
Damn. Yeah.
Do you eat a lot of like hot shit though?
What do you all right, so let me ask you a question. When someone says describe a flavor to me, like you can get pretty creative, right? You can get really creative with certain foods and things. What the fuck does a flaming hot Cheeto taste like? Describe it to me.
It just tastes like a picante salt with a Cheeto. Like something like a salty, like a spicy salty like chip, I guess.
It's hard.
I mean, anything.
Like if you were like, if I'd never had one and you just explained that to me right now, I would still have
like,
no idea what the fuck a flaming hot Cheeto tastes like.
Yeah, but I could do the same thing and say, explain the taste of an apple. Like you just can't explain flavor. It's just a weird fucking thing to express.
I think I would fare better explaining what an apple tastes like as opposed to what a flaming hot Cheeto.
It tastes like red number 5 that you can get. It tastes like fucking chemicals, dude. It tastes like something you could start a.
That's what it tastes like. It tastes like wax and chemicals, dude. Like that. I swear.
I understand that though.
I don't know why that's embedded in my head, but when I've tried them before plenty of times just to be cool and say, hey, I like flaming hot Cheetos and shit like that. But when I eat them, it just tastes weird to me. That's just me.
Like you just have to be in the mode, right? You have to be in the mood for them, and like even with that, like sometimes you don't even finish a whole bag or some shit. Right?
We are definitely
way the fuck off topic.
I think I can put that on all three of us on that one. We all participated.
Okay, so just so I could finish this quick story.
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
I'm asking about the guy, right? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, dude, I swear I haven't had an actual pickle like since I was small. And he's like, and I don't know what it was. He's like, I just didn't like it. And I'm like, so you don't eat it in sandwiches, hamburgers, nothing like that? He's like, I would prefer not to. He's like, I don't know. He's like, sometimes they're a little too sour. They're,
it's got to be the right. I understand this guy.
Yeah, and then I'm like, so like an actual pickle in the theater, like where you grab it from the jar, they give it to you in a little paper, and then you kind of go in there and eat it. He's like, nah, dude. He's like, just the texture. And he started describing it, but he described it really odd, like in a sexual sense. He's like,
no.
it's girthy.
Yeah,
long.
he already lost me on the girthy.
And I'm like, dude, you make it
see
seem
what
like
happens?
you're gonna be sucking on fucking Shrek's dick or something like.
You see what happens?
Ninja,
this is what happens.
Jar
when you
Ninja
eat
Turtle
pickles,
wieners,
see?
dude.
This is what happens. This is what happens.
Yeah, I was like, dude, what the fuck? And he's like, no, he's like, but for real, I don't eat pickles. I was like, dude, that's fucking crazy. And then that's the whole conversation about the state of Texas is the only fucking state where you go to a movie theater and you can get fucking pickles.
Yeah, like literally you go anywhere, man. They sell that shit over there at Stripes, bro. You walk into Stripes and just buy a fucking pickle out of a jar, knowing that there's 100 other motherfuckers that probably put their hand in that jar. You know what I mean? Like, that's the disgusting shit.
I don't know about that, dude. That's why they got the tongs, bro.
How many motherfuckers?
I mean, listen, if we're gonna
dude?
go down the road of eating pickles, you might as well just go for the full fucking experience and just take it out of a dirty ass jar, bro. You gotta. We're already here. Like, the line is right there. You might as well just cross it at that point, bro. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Can you imagine that motherfucker that comes to Texas for the first time and someone invites him to a theater and a dude pulls a pickle out and starts eating that shit? And that dude's just like, I'm in the wrong fucking place, dude. I'm in the wrong hood, man.
Okay. Talking about the hood. What's the weirdest fucking thing you've ever heard somebody sneak into a theater? Like a snack.
Oh, that's a fucking botana, dude.
What? A botana?
Yeah, a whole ass botana, man. Yeah. Brian, you know what a botana is?
What's that? Tell me.
That's like when you go to like a Mexican restaurant and they have like that $30 plate that could feed like 4 people. And it's like nachos and beans and shit. And then it's all the fajitas and everything on top. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I don't, but you're describing the hell out of it. I get it.
Yeah, that's a botana. That we eat that shit normal, like when it comes to like eating at a Mexican restaurant.
Inside of a movie theater.
Yeah, motherfuckers just brought a whole ass like fucking plato, dude.
I miss those days. I miss those days where you could sneak shit in and not have to worry about someone that's coming around serving shit.
Yo, but that motherfucker had to smell like fajitas going in. Like, he had to smell like a whole ass like a botana, bro, dude. Like, bro, there's no way. There's no way, dude.
Those employees are making minimum wage and thinking about when the next bomb dip is coming from. They don't give a shit, bro.
Yeah, like, someone's gonna be like, man, you smell fantastic, man. Enjoy the movie, man. Enjoy the movie. At least he ain't smell like fucking pickles, though. You know what I mean? Fuck.
Can you imagine a whole? Just imagine what you guys. You know, I'm gonna stop again. I don't want the whole state of Texas coming at me after this.
Nah, dude, it's fine, dude, because we don't even.
This is not a hill that's worth dying.
No, you know what's weird? I'll drop one right now that I do not fucking understand, and I probably get a lot of slack on this one, dude. But like, there's motherfuckers that put like Kool-Aid packets on a pickle, and then they eat that shit. No sugar, just straight up like. And then they'll put peanuts in it. They'll fucking deck it out. They'll put a bunch of weird shit. I don't get it at all, man. I get the idea of the vinegar mixing with like a salt or a sour flavor, and then it's a good mixture to have for like your taste buds. I understand that. And I understand like the health possibilities of eating pickles. I do understand that also. What I don't understand is how valley we can make a pickle look. And a motherfuckers get in line at like a drive-through convenience store to buy it. You know what I mean? That's what I don't understand.
Putting Kool-Aid on a pickle is diabolical, bro. That's diabolical.
What they do is they open an actual regular pickle jar, right? And it's preferably the spear pickles. And what they do is they open the jar, they'll pour the Kool-Aid inside the jar, and they'll let it ferment and just sit in there. And the pickle will actually absorb the flavoring of the Kool-Aid. And you get a strawberry taste fucking pickle.
Like, what are we doing?
No sugar,
here?
motherfucker. That's like, what the fuck are you talking about? There's no sugar. How do you get a fucking strawberry taste?
Why the fuck would you want to put sugar inside of a fucking pickle jar? Won't that like just fuck up the flavor? Like, why don't you just eat the pickle? Why we gotta put Kool-Aid in? That's some ghetto ass shit, by the way. But why are we putting fucking Kool-Aid inside the pickle jar? I don't understand this.
Yeah,
that is some ghetto shit.
I'm about to fucking blow your mind, dude.
That's some ghetto ass shit.
Here we go.
There it is. It's right there.
Right here.
See, this is when people do too much. Like, who was the first person that thought it was a great idea to pour fucking fruit punch Kool-Aid inside of a fucking and that shit stuck. Look, and the shit stuck. Look,
that's okra. Is that fuck?
They're putting all types of shit in there. Look,
That's just look. It's like this kind of shit. This is what the Valley
Kool-Aid okra.
Fucking Kool-Aid okra. Okra's disgusting, dude. To be
okay, I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Like, so that's what they call a Piccadilly.
Derpy has been trying to tell us for like the last 20 minutes that we're way off topic. We're looking at Kool-Aid pickles right now. Let me just put in perspective what's happening right now. We are looking up Kool-Aid pickles on camera right now.
I'm sorry.
This is what we're doing right now.
King Yeti comes in and says, in prison they use artificial sweetener Kool-Aid packs and sweet and sours to spread on bagged chicken and ramen noodles. King Yeti.
Yep.
I need a whole ass like comment on your prison experience. Like, that's what I need.
I'm sorry. I know I came in here, I fucked everything up, but dude,
you definitely just hijacked the show with fucking pickles. That's
the thing is like, I need to know, like, Brian, you never heard of a Piccadilly before?
Man, you can stop asking me these fucking questions about pickles, bro. Like, I don't get it. All right, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be cool about it, but I don't get it, man. I don't know what the fuck a Piccadilly is, man.
Well, I don't eat that shit. I think it's
disgusting.
What is it?
Bro, what is it?
It's raspa, shaved ice, a snow cone, right? And then they put pickles on top with like sugar, no, not sugar, Kool-Aid, packing on top. Again,
pickles,
no sugar on the fucking Kool-Aid.
Okay, so technically it's a snow cone. What they do is you pick out the flavor you want. Like if you want cherry, you want grape, whatever fucking flavor of snow cone you want, and then they'll get like half a snow cone cup. They'll put pickles in the middle. Then they put more snow cone on top, and then they'll top it off at the very top with pickles, and then they'll put chamoy on it. I don't know if you know what chamoy is. It's like a Mexican spicy liquid.
First off, this is just flat out diabolical, and second off, what this is gonna do to your stomach is like Mount Vesuvius erupting, and you are just
your asshole
bad shape,
fire,
and you're just in bad shape. Like,
nothing
about that sounds fucking good to me. Nothing.
You take Kool-Aid in like that, it changes the color of your shit, dude. There's no way. There's no way it's not coming
Honestly,
out. Honestly,
my brother, I think the Kool-Aid is at least your words with this.
Yeah, no shit, dude.
If I'm being totally honest with you, man, the Kool-Aid is the least of my worries here, man.
Yo, I have heard of like people. I've heard about people just doing it with like this, right? Where they just put the pickles and the Kool-Aid together, and that's all they do.
Yeah,
I've heard
that's what I was telling Brian. Where they just open the jar of pickle, the spears, they dump the Kool-Aid in it, they kind of stir it up, and then they just let it sit in the fridge for a couple of days, and it ferments, and basically it just absorbs all that flavoring from the Kool-Aid pack, and that's the way it turns. It turns like a red color.
It's got to be some kid kind of shit, because there ain't no adults eating this shit. There ain't no adults.
I eat it.
No, don't tell me that, Nico. That's gross.
Hell
man.
yeah.
No,
my little kids are like, hey, let's try this. I'm like, all right.
You're just being drug along by those little diabolical kids, man.
Dude, man.
They're trying to mess your stomach up, man.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, it fucks with you after a while. Like after you eat too many of them, yeah.
Pickle hour, everyone, derpy, dude. Nico did call it. Well, actually, Nico visited his mom. Yeah, so the derpy's asking, I want to know if Nico called his mom today, and we're talking about pickles. Yeah, he went to go visit his mom, so it's good. All right, boys, enough pickle talk and Piccadilly and all that shit. I don't want to gross Brian out or give him nightmares, man. I don't need him thinking about this shit. I'm gonna just go to New York and open up a fucking Piccadilly stand, dude. I'm gonna fuck everybody.
The only thing that's freaking me out is the damage you're doing to your fucking stomach with that bullshit. That's it. I
do not eat that shit worth a fuck.
You guys can have at it.
Yeah, John, what's up in Corpus Christi? How you doing, brother? John knows what a Piccadilly is in Corpus. Fucking Corpus is literally just the valley cooler than us, you know what I mean? So he knows what it is, though. Oh, John, what's your take on Piccadillys in the comment section, man? Let us know. Let us know what you do. Let us know if you like that shit. Let's get this pickle talking trending. It's funny. All right, well, on to the first part of the conversation. Even cooler with John here because he's a huge DC fan. We got our first reveal of Superman's suit in a picture that just dropped this past week. Boys, what do you think of the new Superman costume? Superman suit.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't even think I've seen it.
No way. We gotta look it up really quick. I'll go first.
I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna open this up right now. But what do you? Okay, so Brian, you've seen it.
I've seen it.
Yeah, there we go.
It's right here.
Boom.
Yeah. So this just dropped last week. James Gunn dropped his first reveal of what Superman is going to look like. And needless to say, it's had Twitter and basically every other social media on fire. It's been the talk for the entire day. And listen, I'm gonna reserve judgment until I see this movie. This thing is gonna, as of right now, everyone is dogpiling on this shit, and I have to at some point. I'm gonna back off, and I'm just gonna let James Gunn cook, and whatever he puts out, I'll watch and grade it on my own.
Yeah, well, I gotta know, like, what are people saying about it? I don't get what I don't get what they get from a picture. You know what I mean?
I honestly think if I could have given James Gunn some advice, and mind you, I don't know shit about shit, I probably would have told him to wait closer to the time the movie dropped before he did this. Yeah. Because if somebody doesn't like this, that's a long time for them to not like this. You know what I'm saying?
But like, my thing is like, okay, what's there not to like? I mean, it's got
it's the obvious, Chris, and even casual comic book or superhero fans could tell you what people would have wrong with this. Like it's the fitting. A lot of people have been talking about the fitting. A lot of people have been talking about the cape. The cape.
It's so weird how nitpicky people can be, like, early on, or just when they hate something. Because I feel like people shit on this because they hate it. Because there would be nothing different, this guy doing it or a cosplayer, if he made this costume. If a cosplayer did it and it was just a dude, it would get 1 million likes and people would be like, whoa, what a talent. But since this is a dude that took over Henry Cavill's job, I think people are just shitting on it.
I don't think that's what it is. Although I do think there are going to be some Henry Cavill haters, stands that are going to just not like it. But I think that the fact that there's been so many iterations of this particular character that we have grown accustomed to what he's supposed to look like. And there's going to be and I'm certain James Gunn knows this and anticipated this. But people are going to have their perspective on what Superman looks like. And some people are saying that this isn't it.
So
personally, I don't care.
Derpy made a really good comment, and that's what I kind of feel like it's mostly about. Is like a lot of people have memed the background, which that James Gunn put it in just as this is Superman, like there's action in the back, kind of giving him like an Easter egg, like maybe it's gonna be Brainiac, or something like that. But like, yeah, but does Superman like pickles though? Does he? You think
that is definitely right under kryptonite?
Yeah, that's got to be right under there. I do feel like the background is a little silly because it's like, why would Superman be at home taking his boots off or on, while there's like some dude fucking up the city in the background and he's not a part of it. You know what I mean?
I saw the one where they mashed this picture and then Wanda from WandaVision getting out of bed and shit. Like,
I saw that one today and I was
like, that she was fucking awesome. So like people have been like just going at it on Twitter and Instagram and all that shit. And I think it's time for me just to let James Gunn do whatever he's going to do and watch it and then decide then.
Okay, so Nico, what about you, man? What do you think? This is your first time seeing this picture. You're getting to kind of like, I see you studying the shit out of this and seeing.
No. Now that I see it, yeah, I did run across it on the internet.
Okay.
But the one I saw, they put Godzilla in the back.
They what?
And doesn't that say something? Doesn't that say something that Nico didn't even remember seeing this shit? Like that says something.
It's because you wouldn't think a suit reveal would be done this way. Like if there was something of that magnitude, you know what I mean? Like that magnitude, like it's like this is your Superman, and then they're like, yeah, him putting his boots on, kind of like chilling out, like super defeated, like doesn't want to go save the day. You don't imagine seeing. Well, I had seen the meme of this, but it was the New York Superman guy or the Vegas one, the guy that takes pictures with people, and he's like at the bar drinking, and you see the window in the back, and I was like, I mean, tell me he's not wrong in the vibes. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it's a bad way to reveal the costume. Maybe it's like,
how would you? What would you suggest he do then? I don't mind the reveal, and I don't mind it coming out this way. I think it's actually dope. I think it's very in the now, if anything. But why? What would you have done different?
You know, I'm not even gonna lie. I probably would have just done like a behind the scenes of him like on set. I would have preferred that than like a photo shoot. Because a photo shoot, you would want to be like where Superman is like in the air, expanded, you know, chest out, being heroic as the way you normally see him. I think us seeing him in this nature makes him more, you know, relaxed, relative. That, you know, that's why like even Nico, being a fan of comic books, saw this and he just glanced over it and didn't even care.
Dude,
It looks like a
was,
cosplayer.
I'm not gonna bullshit. Exactly that. I'm not gonna bullshit. I seriously thought, like, as you're scrolling through your phone, you're just seeing a bunch of fucking feeds of random shit. I seriously thought it was just a cosplayer shoot, like, you know, just like, because the background. I'm sorry, but the background looks like crap. Like visually, it looks like shit. So I seriously thought it was a cosplayer.
He thought he was a
just doing
cosplay
photo shoot.
page.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude. I
exactly.
mean, he ain't
That's
wrong, man.
crazy.
You know, dude, I swear to God. And now that I saw it, I'm like, wait a minute, I've seen this shit. Okay, now
Jeremy.
about the suit, honestly, I think people are shitting on this because for the most part, I know Superman is basically bulletproof and all that, but every fucking suit that he's had has a little bit of shine or gloss, kind of somewhat resembling like kind of like a very light armored suit, even though
Okay.
motherfucker doesn't need armor. And this just looks like fucking fabric that's just gonna rip and like tear in the first fight.
So,
Like,
so Nico, to give a little bit of context, in this particular photo or picture of him, he looks like he's like just like the suit's darker, but he's like covered in like dirt. Like he's just been through a
yeah,
fight.
because you see the S and the yellow looks kind of dirty.
Yeah,
you
so
know?
he's just been through a fight. I think the one thing that this did do well for James Gunn is kind of put in perspective what kind of Superman we're gonna get. Like it's not even about what his suit looks like.
Yeah,
People are
Like a
gonna have their
defeated man.
yeah, like this looks like
what I'm trying to say is like the suit, every single suit that I've always thought of, I've always thought it was like kind of like a Kryptonian looking suit. This looks like something that his fucking aunt made for him or something. Like it looks like somebody just fucking stitched it up and he's cosplaying. Like
That's funny.
not
it
the
doesn't
aunt.
it doesn't look
Not the
like
ant.
something that you would see futuristic or space type. You know, it just looks like somebody just fucking stitched the shit out of it. And it looks like right now he just banged Lois Lane. He's putting his boots on to get to work. You know, like I don't know, man. It just looks really, really crappy. I don't know.
Yo, fucking Lois Lane right after a fight and not even showering or anything.
Yeah,
is
this guy's a savage,
bro.
dude.
This guy's a fucking
Dude,
savage.
that's straight up Superman shit right there, bro.
Yo, straight though, I'm gonna tell you, like the vibe I get from this though is this looks like a defeated man. This looks like a
He looks
tired.
like he's had a long day. He looks
Yeah,
like he's definitely done with the bullshit today.
Yeah, he looks like. I mean, in this picture, it looks like yes, there's something going on in the back, and he's putting his boots back on because he knows he goes out there or has to go back out there. But you could tell by like his clothing that he's like tethered. He's tired. You know, I think we might get a very compelling. You know, yeah, like Carlos said, looks like he was taking a mental health day and it just got cut short. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about it. There's a lot of story to tell in this thing. And again, I'm not a big fan of like the weird globe in the background. It looks a little silly. It looks a little very Capca or very like Canva display of imaging in the back. Like it looks very like not aware or not a part of the shot. But yeah, I don't know how. I guess I don't know. I don't know how to say it.
Goku in there.
Yeah, Goku in the background. That's a Kaioken attack, dude. In the background, he's shooting Vegeta in the back.
What do you think that is though in the background?
Brainiac, 100% Brainiac.
Yeah, I figure. And then like there's a lot of people that have been dissecting the fuck out of this picture. And they were saying like there's like LexCorp back in the background. Like it's giving a lot in this, like it's telling you a lot in this picture. And of course anyone is just gonna talk about the fucking suit. But I think this movie might not be as bad as everyone's making it out to be, or it could be. So I'm just gonna reserve judgment, because I think that if I were to just talk and have a negative view about everything that comes out about this movie before it comes out, I'm probably not even gonna watch it at all. So
yeah, no kidding.
I'm probably just gonna
okay. So Derpy's over here putting some interesting things in the comment section. He has 3 theories of what the thing in the background could be. He says it could be Warworld, the Authority's ship, or Solaris. Solaris, I'm not all that caught up on. The Authority ship, I do understand because that's the group. That makes a lot more sense. Warworld, I 100% doubt. 100% doubt. You know, I really think Darkseid's not gonna fucking, or not Darkseid, but what's his name? Mongol, the Warworld. If that's what I'm not mistaken, he's like in charge of that gladiatorial area. I don't think it's gonna be that. Derby says it's not Brainiac. The only reason why I would consider it to be Brainiac is because of the coloring scheme. The green goes very, very, very popular with how they use his power set to be pink. That's the only thing. David says, fuck Superman. All right. Straight up. Sure, and Carlos, our boy Carlos in the comment section says, could be underselling it until the true reveal, like during the trailer of the movie premiere. Yeah, I 100% believe that too. Brainiac's always been this weird undertoned character in all the movies. You go back to Man of Steel, or was it Man of Steel, right? Where they were going to change the Earth engine or whatever. They had the Earth engine doing all that shit. In the Earth engine, you could see like the 3 circles with the line between them, what represents Brainiac's symbol. Like, you know, it's kind of always been there, but he's never been the villain. It's always been Lex Luthor. So I think James Gunn 100% would want to use Brainiac as some type of like Ultron, like Age of Ultron. At first he's like helping him because he's like a Kryptonian robot or a AI, and then, you know, it turns into like this, you know.
I was gonna literally, right before Derpy said that, I was gonna say like I kind of have, I don't think that could be Brainiac. Not in the fucking first movie, bro. Like, you can't,
of course not. Yeah, not in the
throw
first
Brainiac in the first fucking movie, bro. Like, that would just be a waste.
Well, I think it would be one of those things, like I said, it'd be like an Age of Ultron. Like, at first, he's like a helpful AI, you know, maybe like the Kryptonian AI. I think they've used that before in one of the animated series. And then later on, with the idea of the almost like the that one character that's in the Man of Steel series. I forgot his fucking name, but he's the one that has to like preserve the Kryptonian lineage.
Okay.
He's like this dude that wears sunglasses. He was part of like when Superman died. I forgot his name, but I believe they could do that with Brainiac, where he was like in charge of protecting the Kryptonians, and since Superman is like the only one left, he wants to like take him into custody no matter what and stuff. Like, I don't know. There's always these weird tropes, but I do like the idea that it could be the Authority ship. Like, because the fact is, like, he's supposed to be bringing in, but do you think, okay, let me ask Derpy in the comment section. Do you think the reason why it would be the Authority ship is because they're going to fight Superman? Or are they going to introduce the Authority in the sense of like they did in the comics, where they were like these kind of like weird, the boys heroes, and Superman brought them in during the All-Star Superman series? So that's the only thing I don't get why it would be the ship, but yeah. I don't know. I kind of dig the costume. And for me, the costume correlates a lot to the old school cartoon of Superman. This one. It reminds me a lot of like this old school cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Like this one. And it was very derpy too back in the day, if you go back. Him punching lightning bolts and like there being like very like sci-fi-ish villains that he has to just go and clobber, I guess you could say. Like, I don't know if that makes any sense, but
I think James Gunn modeled the suit after, I think, the combination of this suit and then his
and New
recent,
52, right?
Yeah, and his new recent suit. It's like a combination.
Yeah, but this one, right?
Yeah,
because if you look at this one, it has like a high collar.
Yeah.
And if you go back to that one, it's a high collar, but he does have the red loincloth.
Yeah.
And a cool belt. So yeah, I kind of feel like it correlates that one. This one got rid of the red underwear. So yeah. Yeah, I guess like this one. Really high collar, but the S is different. So what are you guys excited for this, man? Like, is there anything about this that you kind of feel? Like, I dig it. I think he looks pretty cool. I don't know. I'm not hating on it. I can't hate on it because it's just a fucking picture. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing I can get out of this other than just seeing a suit.
You know what? I don't know if I necessarily like it. I don't hate it. But I'm not gonna let it determine whether or not or how I feel about this, what I'm about to watch. So whatever.
So you're what would you rate the suit then? Just in your opinion, Brian?
Being that this is probably the most change or most we've seen of any superhero, I would have to put this suit at the bottom of it.
Okay.
Right now, I don't know how it's gonna look. Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna look later
Like
on.
a 6
I would
out of 10.
I'd probably
Nico.
give it like a 5, 6,
Yeah, like middle.
5, 6, maybe.
Yeah.
If I was gonna judge it.
So okay, well yeah, 5, 6. Same thing with Nico, 5, 6. For me, it's one of those things like the costumes ain't gonna make or break me. Like I know it's Superman, I just don't give a shit how they make him look. It's the story that'll probably like, you know, when it starts dropping trailers and all that shit, I'll probably be a little bit more in tune to it. But the costume, I don't give a fuck about. I expected him to wear a fucking costume. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The underwear inside or outside don't bother me too much. So yeah. So all righty, boys, let's go on to the next subject. What kind of gives us a little bit more of a talking point. Recently, Marvel.
The sad part is, I think we spoke about the pickle longer than fucking Superman.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, even someone in the comment section was like, "Yo, does he like pickles?" Man, fuck, dude. DC just gets shit on it. Actually, as a matter of fact,
it's
talking
the whole that Superman shit. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't give a fuck about Superman. Like, am I gonna watch it? Yeah, I'll probably fucking watch it because it's gonna be something entertaining. But it didn't give me that wow factor. Like, it was just like, man. Like I said, I swear to God, I seriously thought I just saw a fucking cosplay picture and just like, whatever. I just kept scrolling through it. Like, I didn't even know it was a fucking reveal.
That's crazy, man. To me, that's crazy that people there's and if Nico saw it that way, like there's probably thousands of people that saw it the same way. Yeah, I didn't think it was a big hype when I saw it either. I was just like, oh, okay, cool, like a costume, whatever.
I just honestly thought it would have gotten more. I think I heard people talk about it that one, like the first day, and then that was it. I don't think anybody else even like really talked about it.
Like, tell me if you don't think I'm wrong about this, but do you think like I don't even think like Esquire or GQ would release a picture like this? It just looks too boring.
I don't know.
What do you think? What do you think?
I don't know if it looks boring. I think it looks. I'm intrigued. I'm interested in it, but you know,
because usually when a film is about to release some interesting conversation or some parts of the show, they'll release it on GQ or they'll release it on Esquire. Right? I mean, we've seen the articles, you know, fucking Wolverine, Deadpool, or the X-Men 97, or everybody gets released on Esquire in some way.
Yeah, but
do you think this would be a picture in there?
No, I think they would have switched it up. It's like you said, Superman's fucking iconic. He's one of the most iconic heroes out there. It's like you said, they probably would have given him a more heroic pose.
Yeah.
You know, because it's basically like he's the good guy. He's known as the hero of all heroes in a sense. Like he's always the righteous one and doing all this crap. So I seriously think they would give him a little bit more of a heroic pose to it. But the reveal, dude, that was a really crappy reveal, man. Like I seriously think they could have done it way better. If anything, I would have done maybe a countdown just to kind of do a reveal, like 3 days for the reveal, 2 days, 1 day, and then the day of, like, give us like the front, the back, like, something, even if it was even like concept art or just like sketches, or like you said, maybe on scene, like a little glimpse just to kind of, from a distance, just kind of give us what more or less, like a teaser. But that was a shitty fucking photo.
Well, Derpy says that he feels that James Gunn should have held it and released it to the public at Comic-Con.
Oh,
Brian, what do you think of that?
I think that makes sense, but Comic-Con is mostly for like trailers and things like that. But you're right, like that would have been way better than the way that he did it, and I think it would have. Right? I think it would have gotten a better reception.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, if he would have went that route, so I understand where that's coming from.
Good call, Derpy. Good call. And I think Derpy kind of puts it out there, like we all think, like even though good or bad or whatever, we're all gonna probably see this film no matter what.
He's pushing
it could be.
Though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just like we haven't gotten anything DC in a long time, man.
He's pushing it.
Like, do you remember? Okay, I even told you guys this. Like, I knew Black Adam 2 was gonna suck.
It didn't suck.
Well, I didn't think
Black Adam did not suck.
Yeah, I didn't think it was. Shazam 2. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're wrong. I was wrong. No, Shazam 2. When they released Shazam 2, like, I knew it wasn't going to be good. Like, there was a parts of me that I was just like, what am I doing, bro? But I still saw it in the theater because DC just doesn't get any wins, man. And I, like, I'm out there trying. At least give them some money, like, give them a little meal at the end of the day. Like, hey, man, here's some change, get a burrito or whatever. Like,
but they don't have that type of real estate with people in their fans.
Yeah.
They don't have that room. Marvel has that area to where they can fuck up for 5 years, and will still be okay. DC doesn't have that real estate with people. They don't have that trust. So why should they get rewarded for putting out fucking
trash?
Trash, yeah, right.
Yeah, trash. Yeah, just space fade. Just why should they get rewarded? Going to the aspect of Marvel with a bunch of fuck ups and all that other stuff.
Oh god.
Apparently, The Rock's been in talks for Marvel, man. So, how do you guys feel about this? Well, I mean, I gotta ask Brian because one of Brian's like die on the pedestal movies is the conversation that's going on with The Rock, which that was X-Men Apocalypse. I think that was one of your favorite movies. You came out and was like, "Yo, I really liked that movie a long time ago."
Hell no.
I thought you said you liked the Age of Apocalypse. Man.
Hell no. The Age of Apocalypse is. You talking about the comics or the movie?
The movie. Talking about the movie.
That movie was ass, bro.
Oh, I thought you liked that shit. I thought that was one of your favorite movies. All that.
That's literally one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Okay, my bad. Maybe I heard that wrong a long time ago. Then I always assumed that was your favorite movies.
No, I like the Age of Apocalypse comic.
That's true. That's 100%. Yeah,
that honestly, as a kid or even as a young adult, that was probably like one of the last full arcs I was fully invested in. So that's got like a soft spot for me. But that movie sucked, and it's because I was such a big fan of Apocalypse. Is my favorite villain. Apocalypse. Is my favorite.
That's probably what it was in conversation then.
Yeah, he's my favorite villain. In Marvel. Maybe even top 5 overall. But
overall, yeah, he's a fucking baller.
That's that's my guy. But that movie was trash. And I like Oscar Isaac too, but he just was.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac did a pretty good job as far as he could with what they gave him. Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you guys this: so the conversation in Hollywood about The Rock has been that he is in talks to be Apocalypse in an upcoming film in Marvel, which we're guessing is Secret Wars. How do you feel about this? Like knowing that it's going to be like someone like The Rock to play someone like Absunar.
Go ahead, Nico.
Yeah, Nico, you go first, man.
Oh God, here we go. I thought Brian left. I was like, what the fuck?
No. He's
okay. So
I'm still here,
honestly,
buddy. I'm listening.
No, honestly, I don't like this. When it comes to like certain characters, I know I don't know. The Rock, I can't honestly see him playing that role. I prefer somebody completely new, somebody off the fucking chart, somebody that we don't even really know of, somebody like a brand new actor, something.
How dare you?
Dude, come on, bro. Like, are you seriously, you're excited to see this fucker play? Like, I just can't see it, bro. I swear I can't see this happening. Will people go watch it because The Rock's in it? Of course. You know, the dude sells tickets. Like that's his thing. You know, whatever he fucking is in, if he's wrestling, people are gonna go watch it. If he's in a movie, they're gonna go watch it. He comes out in Fast and the Furious, he basically revamps the entire fucking franchise all over again. Then they do knockoffs like fucking side films off that shit because of him. You know, so yeah, the dude is a superstar. We get it. But it's kind of goes back to what we were talking about, Chris. Like, there's certain characters and certain novels that we read and we care about these characters so much that we just want them to be represented like well. We don't want them to get fucked up. And I'm sorry, but I didn't really care too much for the Black Adam movie. And if that was kind of like a small hint or a small glimpse of what we might get in his acting as a superhero, I don't want it. Or as a villain, I don't want to see it.
All right, Nico, I have a very important question that's going to lend to me trying to persuade you, okay? What is your favorite Rock movie?
I like The Rundown.
It doesn't matter what your favorite Rock movie is. You have to know your role and shut your mouth, jabroni. We don't talk bad about The Rock. We don't talk about
like the wrestling stuff.
Shit on The Rock on this show, okay? He is one of the best fucking actors ever to have appeared on the silver screen, bro, and he deserves an Academy Award for just being alive. He should just
being alive.
He should get every award under the sun for just being. I'm joking.
He almost saved the DC universe once.
I'm totally trolling. I'm definitely trolling. Yeah. You listen, you know what? In his defense, it can't get any worse, right? It can't get worse than as far as I'm concerned.
I was gonna say, I mean, it probably could get worse.
It's not going to though. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine, guys.
I don't know, man. Like, I I get what Nico's saying. You know, for me, it's one of those things like when you look at like a character like Apocalypse, like he has to be played by someone that can pull it off, dude. Like just literally pull it off. There's something about him that he is just like over the top royal, like over the top royal type of person. Like to me, Dune, right? You remember Dune 1? Right, Brian? Do you remember that movie? That one that you don't like?
The 80 ones, the 80s one or the newer one? The new one? Yeah.
The fucking guy that's the dude in that black fucking water.
Okay.
The fucking weird villain guy. Like that's what I associate Apocalypse would be like. Like his demeanor in the films would be at that level of like a royal, like a person that rules over people. And the deliverance of that, you need someone that can like really pull that off.
And so what you two are saying is that The Rock can't pull that. He can't give you that.
I'm not saying he can't. I'm saying that he hasn't.
Okay.
So it's hard for me to say that he can.
You're telling me you're going to sit there and have the masterpiece series called The Fast and Furious. And
Brian, don't even start with me with Fast and Furious.
And
we were just talking about that fucking
phenomenal acting that he lent us. He lent that to us. We weren't, some of us didn't even deserve that level of acting that he portrayed. It's fucking gold. It's what it is. And you guys are just, you know what? You guys are just fucking ungrateful. I realize you guys are just ungrateful.
That's what it is.
You guys are ungrateful. And you know what? You guys should not watch the movie then. If that's what you guys feel.
It's because truly you guys have never appreciated Skyscraper before, dude.
At all. Or what was the one with the fucking
Rampage?
Yeah, what was the one with the gorilla, with the albino gorilla and shit?
Yeah,
you guys just don't know good movies.
You don't appreciate the fact that The Rock, in all his glory, played an amputee.
This motherfucker had one leg and was jumping from building to building. Yeah, he had one leg. He was jumping from building to building.
Yeah, they could have actually hired a person with an amputee that could act, but they were like, nah, man, The Rock was a way better choice because he could really act like you don't got a leg.
You guys just don't have the vision.
Yeah, he has the vision, man.
You guys don't have the vision.
But you know what? Like on a serious note, go ahead. Oh, sorry, go ahead, go.
Okay, so look, honestly, I'm not saying that the fucker can't pull it off, but it depends on how they pitch him the role. Whoever's going to direct him and tell him how to act, how to portray this character is going to tell us a lot, dude. Like it's like what Chris is saying. Like there's a certain demeanor that this character has, and he has to they have to pitch it right so that he can know and understand how the character is. Because if you give somebody that, let's be honest, the motherfucker doesn't really read comic books. Like, he's one of those where he just probably reads a script and they're probably going to tell him, oh, he's kind of like real fancy. He's kind of, he's up here. He's almost God tier, like, and he kind of just runs with it. And if they don't have the balls to tell him, no, dude, that's not what we're looking for. Like, it's a whole different demeanor. You got to change it. You got to drop it. You got to drop your tone and voice. You got to act a certain way. Like, and if they don't have the balls to tell him this directly, and they just kind of give him the freedom to do what he thinks is right, he's gonna fuck it up.
So this is my thing. Like all jokes aside, I think that kind of piggybacking off of what Nico was saying, the word on the street is that recently and maybe his entire career, this guy has been a pain in the ass to work with, right? So he's just a pain in the ass. And if you think about it, every movie that he's been in, hasn't been that character. It's been Dwayne Johnson portraying something or being named that character. He's literally the same person in every fucking movie, right? Even Black Adam, he was Dwayne Johnson playing Black Adam. Like it was fucking The Rock. I don't think he can take that approach with this if he decides to do it. And I'm kind of I feel better with him going with Marvel because I do think that Kevin Feige would kind of have
utilize him
nonsense, and not even that. I think that he would have a zero tolerance with him.
Well, I think also like with the casting that they have, he's going to be around some of the top leading actors in the industry, so he'll be getting a lot of insight from a lot of people on how to do this correctly.
Yo, this fucking Deadpool and Wolverine movie it's only going to buy them time. It's only buying them time at this point. So like you can't really like just continuously fail at the box office when you're getting like these big names like The Rock and everyone else that's been rumored to be a part of whatever various fucking movie or show. Like you don't have like I don't think Bob Iger is really fucking around anymore with these assholes. And I think that everyone's job is up. And if you're not pulling your weight, you're not doing what you're saying that you're supposed to be doing, cut. I think you're going to get the fuck out of here. And I think Kevin Feige is included. So he doesn't have the luxury of hiring The Rock for an important character like Apocalypse and then just have him shit the bed. Like, I don't think he can afford that.
But okay, but that kind of falls back to, I think that's the whole reason he got The Rock. Because he knows, like I said, the motherfucker sells tickets no matter what. So even if he shits on the bed on this one, he's gonna show, hey, well, we got the sales, didn't we? That's really what mattered to you guys. We did so much in the box office. That's kind of really what the whole fucking game is. That's what we're aiming for. You guys want asses on those seats. We got you those asses. We sold those fucking tickets. And with The Rock, whether you're a wrestling fan, whether you're a Marvel fan, he sells fucking tickets. And in regardless, that's I think the reason he got The Rock. Because in a way, it's you can't really go wrong. Because if it's a shitty movie, you know you're still going to make the sales. So it's a win-win technically for them. So I don't know.
Not to get a little geeky, but I literally just watched a video, I want to say last week, and it was talking about how much studios need to make in order to be profitable from a movie.
To be on float, right? To be above water.
Or at least just to break even. And they have to make, being that these movies cost so much and they spend so much in marketing and advertising, they have to pull in like, I want to say like 3 or 4 times what their budget was. And to this day, only a handful of movies recently are being what they would consider to be profitable. Even just doubling your money in Hollywood's eyes is not profitable. It's not profitable. Like it's just not. So I think that this movie would need to be something that people see multiple times. If it's going to be him playing Apocalypse in Secret Wars, then yeah, you were going to make $1 billion for that anyway. But anything short of that, and they're not making an obscene amount of fucking money, I don't think it was worth it.
Sure that. The other thing for me too is like the only part that we've gotten to see The Rock actually do something in this nature to pull this kind of character off, I guess, would be Shazam, where he had to play like this character that's like a villainous anti-hero that starts off like, you know, has to be like that villain with a heart of gold. I mean, yeah, the Black Adam character or whatever, like he kind of, you know, he kind of like in the same format. But the problem with this, or the easier part, I mean, not the problem, is that if I'm not mistaken, they're probably going to use this guy just as a support character. He's just going to kind of be in and out, because during Secret Wars, Apocalypse and Secret Wars is very just like kind of like in there and out of there. He's a general of Dr. Doom. Like he's only like just in a couple shots, kind of like in the background. Right now, they're not going to. Do you like right now in the aspect of like Marvel? Do you really?
You're going to spend all that money to fucking bring in The Rock for just a couple clips in the background?
Just a couple shots, yeah.
Just how much fucking money that's going to cost you?
I mean, it's going to be a lot of money, man. But that's Marvel doing it and laying the pathway out for the Marvel movies, the X-Men movies coming up.
I don't think that's.
You bring him in, which is going to show that they're going to use him probably for the X-Men movies later on. Because we know that the next set after Secret Wars is going to be like the mutant or the X-Men era or whatnot. And this is going to give us the opportunity to have and see our Apocalypse at the very beginning in a multiversal kind of way.
I get you.
And
I just from a business perspective, if I was paying that money for The Rock, I would kind of want immediate results.
I mean, they're probably going to give him a good amount of time screen wise, but he's not going to be like the major villain. He's only going to play like a pop in kind of villain.
So you don't see this possibly happening, kind of like what they always do at the end of the movie, the credits, where they're going to show him and just kind of tease us for the next one.
Well, no, I actually think they're going to use him as the way they used Apocalypse and Sinister and all these characters in the Secret Wars comics, where they do play a role, but it's very like in the overarching territory of all the people that control areas in Battleworld. And so he's just going to pop in as kind of like a crime boss under Dr. Doom. So That's it. And I don't think it's a too heavy of a burden for The Rock to have to carry acting wise, but it does give him the opportunity to get his chops wet and get in there and play the character and then do more acting classes or whatever they're going to do to pick him up for the future Age of Apocalypse movies or whatever they're going to do in the future with him. So it's not too bad. I don't think it's a bad call.
I'm pretty sure you saw the movie 300, right? Like,
yeah,
do you kind of see that same demeanor, that same presence for Apocalypse?
Like Xerxes?
Yeah, like Xerxes.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way you would picture him, and that's the way you would carry him in Secret Wars. Like literally in the same format. It would be the same dude, actually, like in Secret Wars. If it was like Age of Apocalypse, like Brian's talking about, oh, fuck no, dude. That's a whole apocalypse-centric film based on him, which is the shit that Oscar Isaac had to do. And even for him, it was hard because of the director and the writing and all that stuff. Even that film was really hard to kind of pull off.
Okay.
But if you do it 300 style with The Rock, like, yeah, I think you pull that off pretty well. I mean, it's not too much. It's not too crazy. I mean, even right now, you mentioning it, like you probably forgot the guy's name was Xerxes, but you don't forget King Leonidas. You know what I mean? You don't forget the 300 characters because it was more centric around them. So, yeah, but that's a really good call. I think 100% it would be like Xerxes in 300. That would be a really good Apocalypse, actually. Really fucking good Apocalypse. Crazy. So, that was us talking about The Rock enters a Marvel conversation. Kind of up. It's kind of sounds like it's kind of middle ground, maybe like low interest, but not as cool as the next part of the conversation that Marvel now has its Devourer with Ralph Ineson. Guys, Marvel has its Galactus. How do you guys feel about this?
I'm glad. I'm glad, but I do not know who this guy is. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I've seen him before. I'm gonna try to pick him up real quick and bring.
Like, I've seen the report. Yeah, I've actually seen his credit listings, and I couldn't place him in anything.
Yeah, I've seen him before in movies, and I kind of remember him doing like silly roles. Like I remember him dropping some stuff, but his voice, he's got a very good voice. He's got one of those very deep, like English kind of speaking dudes. Like, you know, I think for what it is that I would imagine Galactus would sound like, this is probably the way I think he would sound.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not discouraged on this. I think it's actually a really good choice. So, but yeah, what do you guys think, man? Knowing that we are getting a Galactus in the Marvel universe in some way, how do you guys feel? Especially saying that they're talking about it before Secret Wars. Like, what do you guys think?
Well, I mean, you can't really have Secret Wars without certain villains. You can't have Secret Wars without Galactus. You can't have Secret Wars without Doom. So it's just like they were gonna have to introduce him in some place. What better one than a Fantastic Four movie? Sure. I think it makes sense, and I like it. I'm interested to see. You know what? I'm more than Galactus. I really want to see what Pedro Pascal looks like as Reed Richards. That to me is
that kind of got you a little bit more interested.
That's gonna be funny as fuck. I'm sorry, man. He's got to shave that fucking mustache, bro. I don't mean to get off topic, but he's got to shave that goddamn mustache. Bro.
You got to be clean cut, right?
Yeah, something, dude. It's got to go. It has to. I can't fucking look at that mustache and.
I want to say he has a goatee though.
He does. He's got a, I don't know what the fuck you call it, but yeah, he's got to get rid of that mustache, bro.
I like the way you're like, I don't know what the fuck he's got. He's got something though. I'm really excited for this because it gives us a solid actor coming into Secret Wars. Like I said, we've talked about this even with Trigger on the show, where we said that, like you mentioned right now, that you need certain characters in Secret Wars for it to be very effective. If not, it's going to be really weird. It's going to be extremely weird with the cast that we got coming in with the Avengers. Like even with the idea of them not having like an Iron Man or a Captain America or like all the original Avengers cast coming in. Even with the idea of like us not having a Brian Braddock's a Captain Britain. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things that are missing. The thing that I'm kind of concerned with is like, you know, I'm a big fan of the Secret Wars, the new one, right? And one of my favorite scenes in that, well, I have two of my favorite scenes. Oh, I have a lot of them. Fuck, thinking about it, that's crazy. Miles Morales in Spider-Man with Owen Reese. You have the Thing when he's talking to Thanos and he stands up and he fucking off of the wall and he goes to fight fucking Franklin Richards and Galactus. You know what I mean? Like that scene was fucking awesome. Johnny
Iconic,
Storm as the son. Brian Braddock's actually jumping into the fucking zombies thing in the very beginning of it. What's his name? The Black Bolt's brother, the one that's something the Mad, where he goes off and he starts the protest before the Secret Wars ends. Doctor Strange and fucking Black Panther coming out of the portal with the Marvel zombies and the fucking Infinity Gun. There's a million things that if they don't pull it off, like it just shits on everything that Secret Wars is.
Yeah, but you're not getting like
we know 100%. We're not getting.
Why do you do this to yourself? Like you do this to yourself when you get so like built up about, you get so geeked out about comics and shit, and then like when you don't get it, you like it's almost like a repeat. Like I just keep watching. You get your hopes up about what something should be, like it has to be. Dude, all I said, they gotta have Galactus. You're talking about fucking all types of shit that's just never, it's not even introduced into the fucking shit yet.
But you know what I mean, though, right?
I know, I get what you mean. I just like busting your balls about it. But yeah, but there's some things that they can take liberties with, and there's just some things that they can't. I think Galactus is one of those things that they just need to address before you get to.
They need to have him because he's just that overarching character in the background.
Yeah, and he's part of both Secret Wars. So like the old one and the newer one, and it's like you gotta have them in there. So
yeah, that's very, very true. Yeah, but there's just some things that I really hope that Marvel knows that they could have it in the bag if they pull it off. Like 100%. The actually it was Namor in Black Panther that come out of the portal with the undead, right? The Marvel Zombies characters. Like I think that's hyper important. Even if like let's just by chance, like we switch it around and we make it Shuri. I think it can work, but that still takes. I'm not worried.
I'm not worried about who comes out of the fucking portal. I'm just worried about where are we at in the Marvel
universe, like landscape, right?
where that shit fucking happens. Like that's some shit that's gonna be like 10 years from now, bro.
Yeah, that's 100%. You ain't wrong, man. I'll tell you that much. But well, go ahead. Sorry, Brian. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, like, I mean, as far as we know right now, the only thing tying zombies into anything is
the animated series.
Yeah, like
the animated series.
That's it.
Well, I mean, there is rumors that Peggy Carter from the What If series is going to be making an entrance into Captain America: New World Order, or what is it? Captain America. I don't even know what they changed the subtitle to, but the Captain America series.
Yeah,
the film that's coming out. I heard that Peggy Carter is supposed to make her entrance in that also. But again, it's up in the air. We also heard rumors that Chris Evans signed a contract to come back to Marvel also. So,
did you guys hear about the fucking show that he's supposed to be doing?
No, what happened or what? What show?
I don't know if it's been confirmed, but a lot of people have been saying that there's going to be a Captain America show where it shows him taking the Infinity Stone.
I heard about that
with rightful place.
I thought that was just like a rumor. I thought that was like a dream or a fever dream.
I thought so too. I thought it was a rumor, but a lot of places have been saying that it's in the works. Like they're thinking about doing it.
I don't know, man. That sounds cool.
I would watch the fuck out of that show.
I would watch the shit out of that, man. I would watch definitely at least 9 episodes. Or how many fucking Infinity Rings are there? 6? I'd definitely have at least a 6 episodes run. Wow, that's really cool, man. I hope they pull that off. That would be a really great show. Well, going back to the conversation, it's really cool that we're getting a Galactus, but some other rumors kind of spread from the same show with 2 other actors, which kind of caught my eye, which I wanted to ask you guys about. So apparently we're looking at, of course, one of David's favorite shows and my boy Alex's favorite shows, Cobra Kai. Stingray, Paul Walter Hauser, is looking to be a member of the Fantastic Four cast, including John fucking Malkovich in Fantastic Four. So guys, the rumor is Paul Hauser, which is the chubby guy in Cobra Kai that plays the dude that's learning that beats up kids or whatever. He's going to be playing a very iconic character, really old school Fantastic Four villain called the Mole Man. But John Malkovich's character is kind of still on the hush hush. But I wanted to ask you guys, what do you guys think about these two characters? And then I wanted to, of course, ask you, who do you think John Malkovich should play in the Fantastic Four? So Nico or Brian, which one wants to go first?
I have very little to add to this conversation because this is the first that I've heard of this. I like John Malkovich, Paul Walter Heiser. I don't know off the top of my head too well, but anything that John Malkovich is in, I'm okay with.
Okay, all right, Brian.
Okay, Fantastic Four. I'm sorry,
Nico.
Fantastic Four. I gave up on that shit a long time ago.
So this is Paul Walter Hauser.
Yeah.
He's the chubby guy from Cobra Kai that like acts funny with the kids and drives the sports car, and he's gonna be playing Mole Man, which I mean, fucking shout outs to this guy from doing a fucking Cobra Kai character and now in the Marvel universe. Oh, that's a shit fucking thing. I'll do Mole Man. There you go. Did you see that? I fucking tried to make the link bigger. There's Mole Man. He's like an underground dude that lives in like the subterranean area of the earth. And he only comes up to be like, fuck human beings, you're destroying the planet or whatever. He's like a very Incredibles supervillain.
Yep.
Like I guess that's the easiest way to put it. Very
that's exactly
Silver
what I was
Age.
gonna say.
Yeah, very Silver Age comic book character. Very nonchalant. Very like, fuck human beings and what they've done to the earth and stuff. Oh, we lost Brian. He'll probably come back right now. More than likely, he'll come back. Yeah, well, Mole Man is a character that's been throughout the Marvel universe. He is from the Hulk storyline also. But yeah, he's been all over the place. But yeah, apparently that guy. There he is. There's Brian. Welcome back, my man.
Sorry about that.
It's all good.
My internet has been in and out for the past couple of weeks. I don't know what's going on.
No, it's all good. But yeah, this is Mole Man, a subterranean person, has like a whole like a group of subterranean people that worship him, and yeah, he just hates human beings. He's like a what is it, like a environmental, yeah, kind of like Penguin, or like an environmentalist with the Penguin, I guess you could say. He hates humans for what they've done to the earth, and he's trying to take it back for his people and all that stuff. Yeah. Very, very basic super villain when it comes to like the old school like 50s 60s villains of comic books. But this is apparently who Paul Hauser is going to be playing, and I think it's a great choice. Like he's just supposed to be like not like a super crazy like Saturday morning cartoon villain, and I think this guy does it very well.
In the fucking
Cobra Kai.
No, you know what? Oddly enough, I've never watched Cobra Kai. He was in the fucking what was the skating fucking movie with Tanya Harding and fucking
Tanya Harding movie, right?
Yeah, he did the fucking Nancy Kerrigan Tanya Harding movie. He was fucking awesome, man. He was one of like the hitmen that like beat up fucking Nancy Kerrigan. Well,
he came out in Cobra Kai and he plays like the 30-year-old fat guy hanging around with a bunch of high school kids trying to be cool again in a sports car. And he pulled it off so funny. Like he's such a good delivering character when it comes to comedy stuff because of Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
So for him to come off and play like this very like not taken serious supervillain that comes up and believes his whole thing is like the fucking most important thing on the planet, and then everybody's just like, whatever, bro, go back underground or whatever. Like they treat him like shit, and he's like, fuck you all, you're gonna get me one day. Like fuck you guys. Like I kind of feel like this guy gets it. Like this is a great casting choice for the woman. Great fucking casting choice. But yeah, I just want to let you guys know this is Mole Man. This is who he is. Nico, what do you think? You're a comic book guy. You know the Mole Man. You know what's up. What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, I totally understand where you're coming from with that, but he's gonna have to make a small appearance in the movie. I don't think his character is what we're expecting, like to be like an actual hardcore supervillain. As you said it yourself, he's kind of like one of those Saturday cartoons.
Yeah,
it's one of those 30-minute episodes, real quick. They're going to defeat him, and that's the end of that. So I could kind of see this happening like at the beginning of the film, kind of
one-liners. Like they're all doing one-liners with it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can kind of see this happening in the beginning of a film, and they basically already whooped his ass, and they're just going to show him kind of in the background being taken away or whatever. Something stupid and minor, not a big thing. Yeah. Just to give him like a quick 5 minutes of fame type shit, just so that we could say, hey, we got another character in the Marvel universe or whatever. But realistically, I can't see his character being taken too serious to actually make an entire film out of it. The whole Doctor Doom thing, yeah, obviously that's going to lead to bigger and better storylines. But honestly, dude, like I'm not gonna lie, dude, I completely gave up on the Fantastic Four already. They've tried reamping it, rebooting it, trying to remake this bullshit, and they've been failing at this so many fucking times. It's just to the point where they're just gonna try it again for Secret Wars for that exact reason, and they want to bring Doctor Doom, which is pretty much the main character that they want to bring in,
the main
so
villain,
that we can kind of introduce him into the storyline. But I don't really give a shit about the Fantastic Four. I've never fucking really followed them. When I think of superhero teams, I'm always thinking of X-Men. I'm always thinking of fucking X-Force. I'm thinking of other fucking teams. The Fantastic Four is like, it's not even on my fucking radar, to be honest.
You know what's really crazy? When they, because of the drop for Galactus and Paul Hauser and the Mole Man, I kind of am a little bit more excited for this because I kind of get a vibe on what they're going to do. Because of the fact that they released the 2 other teasers based on like the 1950s, right? They based it on something like a time displacement, something in the past. If you were to take this villain and say we're going to bring him out and make him a villain, I could see that being like an Incredibles style film, like the way they did the Incredibles for Pixar, where like they have these characters come out and there's a lot of like them doing their powers and dropping one-liners. And then you take them out of that time to put them in Secret Wars. I could see that happening. But like this being the villain as the arcing character that's like, he pops up, ha ha ha, I'm going to take this park down or this statue and I'm going to bring it down to the earth or whatever. And then they come and they foil his plans and he's like, darn you, Reed Richards and your stupid family or whatever. And then, you know, gets arrested or he has a helicopter, he flies away in the mole man copter or, you know, that silly shit.
Yeah.
Like I could see that being how they make this film, with this character being a villain. And then you have someone like Doom in it. And then those are the characters they displace into Secret Wars and they bring in and they have to like, you know, coming into the now time, being from their old fashioned superhero story style telling in their universe to like all the new age technology that they have to learn to work with in Secret Wars. I think that works pretty well. But my biggest thing is, yes, for them to introduce Doom is important. But John Malkovich is kind of like this gamble, this kind of like, you know, they threw him in there out of nowhere. Who do you guys think John Malkovich is up to for a role with? Like, who do you think he's going to play?
Damn, I'm not going to lie. That's a good question.
Brian, what about you, man?
Who do I see him playing? I don't know. He's an older guy, so I don't know how many, you know, characters he can play. Like it's good. I would think that it's a villain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that he would be playing Doctor Doom, so he would have to be some type of like secondary villain. You know, involved in Fantastic Four. And I would want to go back really quick to what Nico said. Nico said that he was done with the Fantastic Four. And I get where you're coming from because like all the iterations recently have just been trash. Like let's call it what it is. But the one thing that none of those had, to my knowledge, was Kevin Feige. I think Kevin Feige might have been part of like that original Fantastic Four with Chris Evans.
Oh, but, yeah, the old school one. He was a part of it, wasn't he?
Like he might have been a part. I don't know for a fact if he was. But he wasn't what he is now. And I think that's the difference. I don't think, again, with a property like the Fantastic Four, they're up there with being synonymous with comic books and comic book heroes and families and things like that. So I think even if you had some type of Fantastic Four fatigue or whatever, I think this one I'm going to be a little bit more enthused about because Kevin Feige, he's got to knock that one out the park, and I have total faith in him. I have faith in the guy. So, you know, yeah, he's had a rough couple of years, but you know, I think he'll get it right with this one.
Nice, good shit. So, like I was saying, my thing is, I think John Malkovich's
I was gonna say,
character.
like, you always ask these questions, and you're the only one that has an answer to it.
A
You ever
theory.
notice that? Like, why don't you just like come out saying, "Yo, this is my theory on who I think this is going to be"? Like,
Well, no,
you
because
can't just
I'm
wear
not. I
pants
mean,
down. I have
read
no
comic
idea
books.
who the fuck John Malkovich could be playing in the MCU.
Yeah, I really think what's one of those things.
You
that-
couldn't have given me
on
a
guard
more
on that.
yeah, like you couldn't have given me a more random person to be someone in the Marvel universe.
Well, I mean, it is cool. Like, and the thing is like, well, I have a one-track mind. You know, I'm one of those people that I stick very close to like the resource material.
Yeah.
So I think like just a handful of characters because I know that storyline. But like, if you come out and be like, oh, would it be cool if it was like Songbird or some shit? I'd be like, Songbird, holy fuck, or you know what I mean? Like, you know, you could end up bringing out a whole other character that I'm not even thinking about. And that's why I ask. And like, let's say we talk about John Malkovich. I think he'd be a really great runner-up for the Molecule Man. I think he plays crazy characters very well. The Molecule Man has like a very crazy split personality. He plays, he has a very good role in Secret Wars. But you're right. I think Brian's absolutely correct when he says, but he's pretty old. Like, you're going to ask him to play like one of the biggest characters of a multi-dimensional character for how long, though?
He's literally like the biggest.
Like, he's old, man. Looking at him right now, like you look at his picture and he's an older gentleman, man.
Yeah.
But I could imagine them bringing him in as like a Molecule Man.
He's 70 years old.
Yeah, he's old. Like he's like Sir Patrick Neal, what's his name? Fucking
you think you're gonna see fucking John Malkovich chained up in fucking Doom's basement?
Yeah, no shit.
Being interrogated. You see that happening? That what you're telling me?
Yeah, but no, like it's weird. Like, you imagine the Molecule Man like this, like a younger cat, right? But then when you see him drawn in like these type of aspects, you imagine him being a little bit older. And then you look at this kind of picture, and you could see John Malkovich when he was younger. Look at this picture, and then you look at that picture. And again, Secret Wars, Owen Reese, like, he was a very
Doom had him hanging upside down and shit.
Yeah, well, no, that was him floating. He was floating himself.
Oh, he was floating, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he was that's just him in the room by himself. And then he would just pop in and out, and then he would talk to like Miles Morales. Remember when he blessed him into the Marvel universe after everything got reset and shit? Mm-hmm. Brought his mom back and everything.
Hey, lower your videos.
I think personally, John Malkovich as Owen Reese would be a really good choice. I can see him pulling that out. Hard part is I can't see him.
He is going to be the most based villain of. He's gonna like John says in the comments. He's probably gonna be like a politician or some shit like that.
Yeah, that would be kind of weird, right? John Malkovich plays a politician that is against the mutant and superheroes. Yo, that would be pretty cool, man.
Lower your video.
Oh yeah, de-aging effect. John Malkovich playing a younger character. Yeah, but I don't know if they'll do.
Then
that.
Why not just get a younger guy,
right?
A younger guy then at that point.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I could see that. And you know what? I'll tell you this. It determines on who they choose for Reed and Dr. Doom and Victor Von Doom. If they choose the cast from the Fantastic Four, no, it's fucking what's his face, right?
I was gonna say it's Pedro Pascal, bro.
Well, Pedro Pascal's not young. I mean, he's not super young looking, right? He played Joel. His character would be like Reed Richards' age in the Secret Wars comic, right?
The guy's 70 years. This guy's 70.
Yeah, this guy's
bro.
70 though. Like, he's old. You can't fuck with that. He's old, man. Maybe the Beyonder.
Maybe.
I mean, the Beyonder is like ageless, right? But Owen Reese is like, that dude's of age. He's a human being, but he's half the Beyonder. But he's always been made like an ugly looking motherfucker, though.
You calling John Malkovich ugly?
Well, he ain't pretty right now. I'll tell you that much. Goddamn.
It's highly disrespectful.
But like, he has that like very like rustic face, right? I don't know.
This guy, you calling this guy ugly? This guy's 70 years old and he's still fucking pounding it.
Yeah, he can business, bro. Right? Yeah, he's got people lined up for him and shit. Yeah, I think John Malkovich is a really good choice, especially when you're coming in at the end of like, you're at the end of the ball before you get your home run. You're about to hit the ball, and you want to bring in heavy hitters to make Secret Wars work, especially with like a not a heavy hitting team of actors. you got to bring in all these heavy actors and actresses and stuff like that. I think John Malkovich is a good call. I really do. But yeah, what do you guys think, man? Good, bad? Having John Malkovich come in something in the Fantastic Four in any way? Think it's a good call for Marvel?
I don't think it can never be bad.
John Malkovich, I think it's way better than The Rock, personally. That's my opinion.
Oh yeah, 100%.
When I think of John, I'm thinking of Cyrus the Virus, Con Air.
Oh shit, that's a good call.
And I seriously, I could see him playing a fucking villain. He's got the capability, and the Cyrus the Virus, that character, dude, it fit him so well. If he can pull something off along those lines and give us a character like that in the Marvel universe, dude, it's gonna be awesome. I'm telling you right now, I'm personally more excited to have him in than I'm more excited than The Rock. Screw The Rock. I'd rather have John in there.
I think it's kind of, you know what? And I'm just thinking about that. It would kind of suck if he was like Sue Storm's father. You know what I mean? If he's like the scientist that Sue Storm and Johnny Storm, remember how they had the actor in the other movie? And the dad played like a pretty important role on them being inside the second Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
That would be kind of eh. I wouldn't want him to be the dad. There's a part of me that really hopes he's fucking Owen Reese, man. Molecule, man. Be about that. Well, onwards to the last part of the conversation, boys. That's a really cool call. Just wanted to bring it up. Last part of the conversation is something that Brian is enthusiastic. He was like, got to talk about it. Nico, I don't know if you've seen it yet. I've caught up. I've kind of finally caught the whole thing, and Brian is now here to talk about it. Let's go. X-Men 97.
I'm here to talk about it. It's only the best series that's been on Disney Plus ever in the face of Disney Plus, and you want to talk about fucking Warhammer. I'm like, yo, you got to get this shit out of here. No one's coming here to tell you about Warhammer, bro. It's X-Men time, bro.
Let's go,
it's like
baby.
It's the best show that Disney Plus has ever fucking put together. And you want to come in here talking about some crazy ass Warhammer that nobody
X-Men 97,
plays.
Sliced bread. X-Men 97, better than the Q-tip.
Definitely better than the Q-tip.
First off, sorry, Brian. I don't mean to cut you off. But I'm good. You can spoil the shit out of it. I don't care.
No, honestly, it's really, I don't even have to spoil it. I can just literally just talk about it in general, like in general, and saying that it's fucking awesome. I think that what they're doing, the only thing is that's a little bit off. And I thought that I've noticed it since the first episode, and I thought I was going to be okay with it. But like the pacing is extremely quick. Like it's extremely fast.
Extremely quick.
But other than that,
let me ask you though, are you talking about that in general with the way that they're going through the X-Men storylines?
Yeah. But you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, it's very Saturday morning cartoonish though, right? They usually do that. They usually go pretty quick through like the episodes that are just, there. This episode was really fucking good. Nico, you haven't watched it, but I'm surprised how you haven't gotten it spoiled from the internet, because this episode everyone was talking about it. They did what everyone, I don't know, anyone that wasn't watching that episode, anyone that was watching that episode knew how that was going to end. Like you knew by midway. And I thought about you, Chris. I thought about you, sir, because you were sitting here and I think we almost had like a flat out argument about Wolverine and his usage in this show. And when I saw that, because I remember specifically, I said, yo, bro, just chill, bro. They're going to get around. It's fucking Wolverine, bro. They're not going to leave out fucking Wolverine. No, man. Like it's just, I did that, bro.
But they did leave him out.
They did. And I said, just let him cook. Just let him cook. Because I think what they did was, I think in the earlier shows, like they didn't really focus on certain characters the way they should have. And I think they're taking care of that in this series. They're gonna get around to the Wolverine, bro. They're gonna get to him. And he had probably even though he wasn't used as much or could have been used more, he still ends up with probably the most iconic part of the fucking show so far.
Well, because that's an actual iconic situation that happened in X-Men history. That's not. Who cares? That doesn't change the fact that what I just said is true. He still ends up having the more iconic part of this show so far, and it's been fucking amazing. Yeah.
Comments? Was I right? I told you they were going to get around to it. They weren't going to just
They
let
have
fucking,
to. They have to.
I told you to keep your panties on.
Okay,
and
okay.
just relax.
I let you say it. I let you say it. Now I'm gonna come and I'm gonna say what I gotta say, which is the only thing this guy's doing for the show is he's taking all the, and this is why you feel the way you do about the show, is he's only putting in the most important parts when the story sucks. He's putting a bunch of extra fluff around the actual historical situations that happen in comic.
Did the story suck at that point when they just used him? Because that was
the story was not good. It's always the same shit over and over again. Like,
so this episode did nothing for you. This episode did nothing for you at all.
And the thing is even with the whole ending thing with Wolverine, it didn't do anything for me either. They had to get to that point anyways. But let me ask you, what does it matter? Like, in the process of it, what does it matter if they do that to Wolverine? What's going to happen after? What does it do in the story of the X-Men?
It gives him an arc. It gives him a point, a reset. It literally resets fucking Wolverine. It resets.
Well, he didn't need to be reset. He's the only character in the X-Men series. This is what I like about the series, is the reason why Wolverine takes the back seat is because he's the money-making pit of the X-Men. No one gives a shit about any other character. If it wasn't for Wolverine, the X-Men, nobody would care about him. But that's the thing, is Wolverine is solo a character that's been developed throughout the entire series. You could probably tell me more about Wolverine than you could tell me about any other character off the top of your head. Other than what they've done in the cartoon with any of the characters, tell me anything significant across the Marvel universe other than X-Men, other than Wolverine. Like, tell me something more significant that's happened since she's lost her power in the show. Explain that. What else has ever been iconic for her character outside of this?
Let me just.
But you get what I'm saying, right?
I get what you're saying, but this is what I'm hearing, though. This is how my brain computes our conversation about this. We originally got into this conversation because you said that they're not utilizing Wolverine to his capacity, right? I'm literally here today saying to you, they reset Wolverine to give him an arc, to make a restarting point, to give him a story, to use him more, and you're still not satisfied. Like, that still doesn't do anything for you. Like, that's wild. Like, that's what that's what this is going. Like, that's what's going on. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna break it down a little bit more. I don't need them to reset Wolverine. Wolverine's character is not the problem. The problem with it is every time something happened, they just didn't use his character. The only part they did, which I was really good about, which was the Daredevil or the Nightcrawler and his fight scene. They used his character really, really well. And that's what I'm talking about, is they don't use him to do the stuff that he does in the comic book naturally. He fights, he cuts, he scratches, makes stupid comments and stuff like that. Other than that, every episode he's just been in the background or saying one-liner like, yeah, well, he better like sausage, and then that's it. Like, that's the only thing he does in every episode. Or him and Morph just have a beer and they just go, oh, well, fuck these kids or whatever. And that's it. Like, he just chills out in the back. Like, they bring him to a fight scene and he's just in the background, just like walking, like just wiggling backwards and forth. Like, he's not fighting. The Nightcrawler and Wolverine episode, you can't tell me that wasn't one of the best action sequences you've seen in a while. Other than that, it was the Storm Magneto versus that weird zealot Zionist guy in the second or third episode. Other than that, all the other the Cyclops in the first episode, those scenes were really good.
Okay.
And then the Gambit action scene.
Chris,
other than that, the story's weird, man.
You're talking from the perspective of what they have done. I'm talking from the perspective of what they are presenting to you right now. Like, they're giving you a path forward to expand on this character and to give you more Wolverine, which is what you wanted. Like, you're talking about what they did in the first couple episodes. Yeah, maybe he wasn't utilized to his capacity in the past couple episodes, which is why you had the crush that you stood on in the argument before. But now when they're giving you a whole fucking arc for the kid, for the character, like, and that still isn't doing it for you, that's a little crazy to me.
The reason why is because
they're about to give you Pharaoh fucking Wolverine, and you're not excited about that. That's insane to me, bro.
I mean, it all determines, because we don't know what they're going to do with the character going past this. You're telling me, like, yeah, I understand they're going to do the Pharaoh Wolverine storyline. That's the whole aspect. That would be the whole thing coming past this. He gets the adamantium shit, and then, you know, he turns all wicked and he gets a little bit more dark and sinister. Do we know if they're going to do that? I don't know, man, because we had the Storm storyline.
Oh God!
It was supposed to be
check this guy's pulse, man. I swear to God, man, this guy, man, what are we doing here, man? Like, what the fuck?
The thing is like it's like you said, everything is just rushed because he's trying to get to the major points in the storyline, and because there's no structure to the story, there's no organic building in the character line, right? Let me ask you, like Jubilee, how much do you care about her character now that you know more about her?
I mean,
No, just be honest. I don't just straight. Like, do you
I'm
like
just
her
saying,
character
well, I
more?
was gonna say, like, I don't think I cared for her particularly at all, and that like nothing was gonna. I don't think much was gonna change. I'm not a big Jubilee guy.
Well, the director of this show literally pushed on the idea of building Jubilee as a character, and I care less for her character now with all the other stuff that they've written in. It's just not a character I know about.
I don't think they harped on Jubilee more than they did anybody else.
They didn't arc on her. They tried to build her more. They tried to build her character.
I think they've done
character. They didn't build,
that is yo, Chris, that is their job. That's what they're supposed to do.
And they didn't, but they failed at it.
I mean, I'm not saying that it was successful, but they tried to build on every character. Like they tried to build on Storm. They built on Jean Grey a whole hell of a lot. They've been building on Cyclops. I think honestly, out of everyone, they've been building on Cyclops the least, and it's still interesting. Like his arc, his character arc right now is interesting. I just think that they took the responsibility of harping on everyone's character, trying to build up everyone's character, and not just the Wolverines, and not just the Jean Greys. They're trying to harp on everyone. They're trying to give everyone an arc. They're trying to give everyone their time to shine.
But that's what I'm saying is you don't need to do that with Wolverine. Like you don't need to. And the reason I'm saying that they didn't use Wolverine enough is, like I said, they just didn't give him action screen time like they gave everybody else. The storyline, they don't have to build Wolverine because everybody knows the fuck out of Wolverine. He's the only consistent character across the board that is a part of every team in the Marvel universe. Why? Because he's the most popular X-Men character ever.
So all you want from Wolverine is just him dicing up shit and saying the one-liners.
That's what he does. That's what people want to see out of Wolverine. Is that not what you want to see out of Wolverine?
Not really, because he's more than that. Like I'm surprised that you're taking this stance, being the comic historian that you are, that you wouldn't want to see one of the most iconic characters in comic book history being fleshed out more in an animated series. That's surprising to me.
But that, to me, it's because of the fact that Wolverine is fleshed out throughout all media already enough. Storm, like Cyclops, Jean Grey, all of those other characters don't. In fact, I love what they did with Cyclops in the first couple of episodes.
So I thought that was amazing. Is anything in this show captivating you? Do you like? You want to say anything positive about the show at all?
No, yeah, of course I do. Of course I do.
Like what? What do you like? What do you like?
Well, for me, I like
on the Wolverine thing is ridiculous. What else?
Well, I like the fact that they built on Cyclops' character, and they're showing people that there's like a certain Captain America vibe to his character when it comes to the X-Men. But then later on, he becomes overzealous. He becomes more imperialistic as a character, where he ends up killing Charles Xavier because he doesn't truly believe that Charles Xavier believes in the way that he believes in the X-Men. Mm-hmm. And that's a big thing about Cyclops. There's a whole comic book arc called X-Men versus the Inhumans. Mm-hmm. And in that storyline, Cyclops dies in the very beginning of the comic book. The arc, he dies in the very beginning, and Emma Frost ends up creating an after image of him and puts it in everybody's brain that he's the main character pushing the war against the Inhumans. And he died at the very beginning because everybody truly believes in Cyclops as a leader, just like Captain America. But the thing is he's way crazier than Magneto. Like, he's way nuttier than Magneto when it comes to pushing the envelope. Magneto, I think he's a good character. I think he's overhyped. He's overhyped as a villain. He does exceptionally well in a lot of stuff, but he goes through a lot of trauma, and I don't think they focus a lot on the trauma, where he was like part of like the World War II, part of like the Jewish encampment, against the Nazis, and then, is used as a weapon, and he's kind of like, tormented by it. But they overhype him way too much, dude. I think there's so much more you can do with so many different characters, and I think Cyclops will eventually get that time to shine as that true like Zionist, imperialistic villain that we're gonna get that Magneto couldn't. I eventually think we're gonna get that. Charles Xavier came in and did the Charles Xavier thing where he's trying to like rationalize instead of use his powers.
He was annoying. That was the first time I ever thought Xavier was fucking annoying. He could be a dick,
But that's the way he truly is. That's
flat
why
out evil
like
sometimes, but he was just fucking annoying.
yeah, like he has an okay heart, but he just makes stupid ass rational decisions. But like, yeah, like the whole thing about him being like, oh, well, you know what? Like, I'm gonna leave the planet Earth and go get married because I like this chick, and I'm gonna leave Magneto in charge. It's like, come on, dude. You could have left any other motherfucker in charge of your school, any other motherfucker, and you chose the one guy that the entire fucking world hates.
Yeah, if
Not
I'm
just
Cyclops, if I'm
yeah.
if I'm Cyclops, I'm gonna need to shoot the fade with fucking Charles when he gets back to Earth, bro. Like,
yeah, I would have just been like,
why the fuck would you? We gotta run the hands, bro. Because why the fuck are you doing that? Like, I'm right here, bro. Like, you picked this motherfucker. I've been following you since like the fucking 60s and shit, and you picked Magneto as the fucking guy. Fuck out of here.
I'm telling you, man, that was the wildest thing the show ever did. They could have even left Storm like the way they did Halle Berry in that one movie, and that ruined that movie, leaving Halle Berry in charge of that school. But I would have taken that over fucking Magneto in a heartbeat, dude. That was just the dumbest decision ever. It didn't, and to me, like in that part of the story, I thought it was a ridiculous choice as a story writer to make that Magneto as the guy. Like, so being that just a normal everyday watcher is going to watch this and just be like, man, that was stupid. Like, that was the stupidest choice to leave in charge of a school or whatever. Like, you just know it's destined for failure. You know what I mean? But I guess that's a way to cause turmoil in the story writing to get the audience involved more, because you knew it was going to fail and Magneto was going to go nuts and, you know, he was going to try to kill everybody in the world. And yeah, I don't know. Storm, I've always loved Storm's
character. Does he do that in Fatal Attractions? Like, does he like kill the Earth? Do you know?
No, I don't remember. I know he smashes a giant EMP, but actually he just drops like Asteroid M onto the planet or some shit like that. Like, it's way weirder in the comic books, man.
That was some wild shit.
Yeah, it is, man. Like, but the thing, okay, so like again, Magneto is kind of like this. Like, why would you let a dude loose like that? Like, why? Like, why? Like,
I think that Cyclops move that he pulled when Charles had Magneto like hemmed up and he had him under control, like it was over.
Cyclops shot his ass,
and Cyclops shot him to break the hole
that he had on Charles, we need more time.
What did Cyclops think was gonna? What the fuck was going through his head at that particular moment? What did he think was gonna happen?
Part about Cyclops that everybody needs to understand: that motherfucker is dumb as shit when he rationalizes himself.
What was going through his head? Like, I don't get that.
That's Cyclops. That's 100%
Magneto. All right, so Nico, let's just say not to spoil everything, but there's a point in this episode where Magneto is beyond pissed. Like, he has had it with everyone. Like, he's had it with Charles. He's had Ultra Instinct, man. He is done with everybody and in everyone's mouth and everyone's shit. And
he even tells Charles Xavier to shut up, dude. That was funny as fuck to me. I don't know why.
And then Charles finally gets him in some type of like mental hold where the threat of Magneto is over. He is subdued. Like, he is gonna be fucked. He is about to drain the life force out of Eric until he is about to pass out.
Yeah,
right?
he's gonna give him brain. He's gonna turn his brain off.
He's about to drain him. He's about to drain him of everything, right? And Cyclops stops that because the other team didn't accomplish their goal, so they were like kind of like ahead. Like, we can't subdue this guy who's killing the fucking Earth and about to kill everyone on the fucking planet, who is just now the fucking villain of the planet itself. We're gonna let him back loose into, out of this hold, and there's no backup plan. There was nothing. Like, he slaps the fucking helmet on Charles so quick to shut him down. So now the only person that could have saved you is fucked. Now you have this pissed off Magneto who is just, he's done. He's done with everybody.
I'm laughing because it's so funny to me, dude.
Like, why the fuck would you do that?
Yeah, it's a Star-Lord moment from Infinity War. That's fucking funny.
I'm sitting there, really, my mouth is on the fucking floor. I'm like,
got that right on the button,
and sure as fucking day, fucking Magneto gets up and he's done.
Cloud 9, baby. He's just on fire, man.
Yeah, he's done with everybody in their shit.
That was the silliest fucking situation I had seen in a while, man. And that's like right on the button. That's the Star-Lord moment. I remember we talked so much shit about that. The entire internet talked so much shit about the Star-Lord and Thanos moment. Because that was the dumbest, that was the most irrational thinking I've ever seen out of one human being in the entire goddamn world. But yeah, it's really weird. And then like the whole Wolverine thing after that, like how didn't he feel a big ass fucking metal dude coming his way? Like how did this motherfucker fucking sneak up on him and get him? When he feels
that's way too cool to nitpick. Like that was just cool. That was cool. Watching Wolverine
it's like the
finally
same way it is in the comics, yeah.
And then it ends up the way that it did in the comics. And honestly, that was one thing that I did appreciate about them putting that in there, because I was so far removed from comics when Fatal Attractions dropped that I had no business knowing what the fuck that was. And I just remember, you know, still being somewhat in tune to where that was something that I knew about. It was something that was there. So
yeah, true that. I'm gonna hold that. But yeah, that was a pretty interesting part when it came to the storyline, and to see that whole Cyclops thing kind of unfold the way it did was kind of weird.
Okay.
So yeah, I thought that was like, but you know what? Straight up, like that was like comic book accurate, like past 2015 Cyclops. Like always making like the dumbest irrational decisions because it only needs to benefit him at that moment.
But like, that doesn't make any sense. Like this entire episode, he's talking about his allegiance and, you know, the impression he's gotten and that he's been under Charles Xavier's tutelage, you know, forever, and how he was pissed at Charles. He really carries himself as a leader. And you telling me a leader makes a mistake like that?
That's what makes him a bad leader, man.
Like you make that mistake and that's costing the entire planet, everything.
Yeah. I mean, he may be cool saving Nathan or Cable or Jean Grey or whatever, but like the rest of the people can all just fucking. He's that one dude that's like, what do? You save a train with a bunch of people in it, or your kid, or do you let your kid die and save a bunch of people? He's like, fuck them people. Like he's just like Cyclops is like, fuck them people. And that's just the way he is for the mutant kind, man. He's like a super like Zionist, man. Like super over the top dictator when it comes to like the mutant kind. So I kind of hope they push more on that. The Wolverine story of him becoming feral, I guess like it'd be all right to watch. I mean, to see it unfold. Actually,
this fucking guy. I guess it'll be okay to watch. Shut
I mean, the only thing, I mean,
like I said, like, amazing.
There's really nothing that comes from that other than the fact of when they put the adamantium back into him. That's it. Like that's it. Other than that, he fights like what? He's gonna fight that fucking dude with the arm, Cyber. Like he's gonna fight Cyber a bunch of times, which is a dude with adamantium arms that just kind of just beats the fuck out of him. He's gonna get his bones broken a bunch of times. Like there's not anything like other than the factor of like you said, like he's gonna go feral a lot. He's gonna be more animalistic. We may get that like. I forgot. I think Nico. I think you talked about it too, where we get like. Or I think we talked about it like last week or this past Friday, like him by the lake, like you know, with the wolves and all that stuff, like the origin story, like maybe, even the factor of him knowing that he has bone claws and they weren't just installed, the blades in him like during the whole like Weapon X program, right? So like even he figures out like really I had bone claws before this. That's wicked. You know what I mean? Like all that shit's kind of gonna play a factor. I just don't want them to overgloss it the way they overglossed Storm's story. I was really disappointed in the Beast tells Storm this is a permanent thing, and then like one day later she bangs Forge and gets her powers back. Like I was like, okay, like that wasn't very like trauma-esque, turmoilist. Like there wasn't anything that was like, you know, big about it. Like she got her powers back off of something that was supposed to be permanent in 3 hours, like maybe 4 hours, just on her being like, oh, you got to find yourself in a cave or whatever. That's kind of that was dumb. Like, come on, Brian, like you're making faces, but come on. Like being that Beast literally was like, wow, this is permanent. And then like 3 days later, she gets her shit back.
How the fuck?
Well, wasn't that kind of part of the movie with Magneto in the cell?
Yeah.
Like
you barely got it. Like before you know it, you see a little movement.
You barely got it open ended at the end that he may still have his powers, but they didn't go past that because the movies they didn't make a movie after that. So you don't know what happens to Magneto.
but everybody in the film assumed, hey, if you got shot with this fucking dart, you're fucked.
You're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah, you're dunsies, man. Yeah, that was the whole thought of it.
Yeah, and so in a sense, that's kind of the way I saw it in the animation. I was like, okay, she lost her powers, but I don't think it's gonna be permanent though. Like she's too of an OG X-Men, and she's
there's no way she's gonna just have her fucking license her powers.
Exactly.
But there was no
I kind of figured
you can't pick and choose when you want your comic book shit to be a comic book, bro.
Okay,
like,
so I'm completely lost once and for all. Is X-Men 97 a continuation somewhat
yes
of the original?
No,
it's
a direct continuation.
So, and if that's a continuation, they already did the arc for Wolverine. And now from what I'm hearing, I haven't seen the episode. From what I'm hearing, they're gonna do another arc of him possibly going back to showing what happened.
I think they did like the Weapon X, but this isn't this. I think they did the Weapon X episode, but this isn't that. This isn't him going to Weapon X. This is him just going back to, before the Animanium. And he's basically what happens is Magneto just basically pulls all the fucking Animanium out of him, and it basically drives him insane. It drives him, berserker. He basically turns into berserker Wolverine, and I'm assuming that they're going to be dealing with that moving forward with Wolverine, not particularly the Weapon X program.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. I didn't get a chance to follow, while the comic book was going around about that. I just know that that's what happens, and I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I'm kind of like, I'm not saying that the show is like horrible. There's nothing about me that's saying this show is like unwatchable or something. It's not it's not Secret Invasion, bro.
What's your grade on it? What are you giving it?
Oh no, dude, like I'm up like a 7.5, 8. Like I think it's all right. Like there's nothing bad about this show. Like you can literally put anyone on this show and they'll get it. And then they can go back and watch the old cartoons and be like, all right, cool, I get it. Like there's nothing about it that's bad. Like I just think that there's certain parts that I think they could have gone in a different direction, but they didn't. And then of course, like the pacing is kind of off a little bit. Like I feel like again, like my biggest thing was the Storm thing. I get what they were trying to do. I just don't feel like the emotional connection to the character. Like I think the voice actress is amazing. I'm on that actress's side 1,000,000%. I think she does amazing. I want her to do fucking audiobooks. Like I think she's amazing. She plays Storm extremely fucking well. When I think Storm, I think her. Like that's never an issue. But the turmoil of her character going through the factor of her losing her powers and it being permanent, I kind of feel like they didn't let that idea cook enough and let this actress shine on her, like bringing that emotional content. In fact, like her fighting a giant like hawk or whatever it was. I don't know what that was. I get it that it's supposed to be like a demon-esque character brought on by I don't know, peyote or whatever the fuck they're doing, ayahuasca or whatever, doing some crazy shit. Like, there's something about it that they wanted to make it more of like her having her abilities was a spiritual journey, right? That's kind of what it was portraying to be. But then them adding the what was the name of the character that it was? The adversary, I think that was the name of the eagle or whatever, that weird demon bird. It was like the adversary, and it's a villain in the X-Men universe. I just feel like it was a little too much, and they needed to make it more about the trauma, like what she was going through. I just don't think they fleshed that out enough. So, what is it?
Brian.
Oh, Brian, he's aiming at the Vegeta in the background.
That belongs in a trash can, sir. So I don't know. You guys, I get it. Once 11 o'clock happens, you guys are just turning into fucking animals at this point. I don't know what you guys about. This guy Chris is talking some nonsense, and this guy is pointing trash out to me on live camera. I don't know what's going on. This whole show is out of control, man. Yeah, man. This is one time where Rob hits this shit out the park. This show is a 10 out of 10. I think what they're doing with every character is fucking amazing. I wish the people that wrote this, I think Bo DeMayo needs to be writing everything that I watch from here on out. and or at least show running everything that I watch from here on out.
Do you think they made a mistake by firing this guy?
Until I find out what they actually fired him over, and then I'll probably have to recant those statements. But until then, I'm riding with Bo D'Amago, and I think this show is fucking amazing.
Vince says 9.5 out of 10.
And Vince is a hard person to sell, so I'm going to fall in line with Vince there. And this is highly. So
Ryan, let me ask you, because you're really sold on this show. What's been your highest point of the show? Like, what's been the highest thing that you're like, man, dude, like this is it. Like this is like pinnacle.
That's easy for me. All of it. I think aside from the Jubilee episode, which still, had some really dope areas. I didn't care for it overall, but other than that, they've been topping it themselves week after week. It's becoming something where I'm seriously debating whether or not I can put another Disney Plus show over this, and it's hard.
Wow, shit.
It's hard. I think Loki is up there. Loki was my number one, but I think X-Men 97, and they've been greenlit for season 2 and they're starting to write season 3, dude. So right? Yeah, man. So this isn't going away anytime soon. And if they keep this up, then we're in for a fucking man. We're in for a long ride, man.
Yeah, I'm about it. I think this show's pretty good. Like I said, it's not anything that it's dying or anything like that, in my opinion. Just a little bit of things, but nothing that's gonna kill it. Any theories on what you got coming on for the show, like in the X-Men series? Like, what do you think they're gonna do next, or what do you think we're gonna get with like maybe Gambit, or what do you think is gonna happen?
I do see. We talked about it the last time we were here, where Onslaught is definitely on the table. I do see them being a crossover. What Vince is saying. I do think they're not just gonna put Spider-Man in that episode when Magneto.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, like I think they're gonna do something with Spider-Man, and honestly, I still think that the Avengers are on the table as well, where there could lead up to being a Avengers v X-Men
crossover or something.
Crossover type of deal. I'm hoping
they threw a real big wrench by just adding all those collabs out of nowhere in that one episode.
Yeah, we got Hulk. We got Hulk in this episode, so they're putting them in. They're putting them, around just to, make sure you guys are still keeping your eyes open. But I do think that's going to be there somewhere.
Yeah, and we had a bunch of cameos. We had what's her face? What's her fucking name off the top of my head? The chick that with the psionic shit. Psylocke, yeah, they had Psylocke pop off in the first or second episode.
I think it was first or second episode. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they had Spiral, and then all of a sudden they brought in the Mojo episode, and I was like, "Fuck, dude! Like, that's like deep cuts into the X-Men universe. Like, they know that means there's like Shatterstar's a possibility. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a whole bunch of opportunities, especially him coming out with Deadpool. So, and then Spider-Man 97 came out, which was like the old Clone Wars cartoon of with the Beyonder and all of that stuff. And then they brought in Captain America, which is like around the same time with the Avengers shows. There's a huge possibility, man. Like, I think they're taking some really fun risks. And then, like you said, they introduced the Hulk, which gives us this idea that, like, Morph is a pretty powerful character. Like, when him able to kind of like maintain the Hulk's power ability a little bit.
Yeah.
And then not only that, like, we still haven't seen Mystique. She has to be somewhere out there, right?
I believe
she's a huge player in the old cartoon. And then not only that, what was it? There was another character that kind of caught my eye too. I can't think about it, but yeah, they've done some pretty interesting stuff that I'm pretty excited about. So yeah. So what do you think, Brian? What is this show? 10 out of 10 for reals, or are you kind of like
10 out of 10, bro? 10 out of 10.
Sweet, man. So you guys heard it here first.
More
Brian,
if I could.
10 out of 10. I think it's like a 7 high. Nico says it's like a 8? Nico, what'd you say? Like an 8. Yeah. So yeah, guys, go check it out. Make sure you guys go check it out. It already season finale. Was that episode 9?
No, we have one more.
Do we have one more episode?
Yeah, it's a 3-part finale.
Holy fuck! I didn't even know that. Wow, dude, I really thought it was gonna end at that part. Damn.
Nope.
So we're about to get some crazy shit in the next episode.
I'm totally with Brian though. I seriously think this show is basically right now at this exact moment. I think it's what's keeping Disney Plus alive. Like, it's that popular right now that I seriously think, due to this one animation, it's keeping Disney Plus afloat. Because other than that, if it wasn't for this show, I don't see a lot of people fucking subscribing or getting into Disney Plus. they haven't released any new content. They really haven't released anything that's out there that's wowing anybody.
It's wowing anybody.
You know, so for the most part, I know a lot of people, what they do is they subscribe, and then once their series or their show comes out, like Loki, they'll go back and jump into it so they can watch it. And then once it's over, they just fucking cancel the shit out of it, you know, because there's really nothing out there. They're just fucking regurgitating the same shit. It's the same fucking Disney movies, you know, that they're bringing out. You know, if you're already caught up with all the other Disney, like fucking Marvel movies, there's really no point in really having the subscription. So really, I think this animation is kind of revamping Disney Plus for them. And I was reading Vince, the whole thing about the Spider-Man series 97. I think at this particular point, after seeing the success with X-Men, it's a very high possibility that they're going to fucking do that and go, you know, why not? Let's go for it.
True that. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in with us this weekend. We really appreciate all you guys. To all our extraordinary listeners, we appreciate you. Nico, where can they find you on social media? On your website page?
Just here on Facebook. It's Nico NYKO, last name Cantu. Profile picture is Scrooge McDuck, bro. Always hustling.
Awesome. And Brian, my man, thank you for being able to join us today. I know work's always hustling for you and stuff like that. So thank you for being able to jump in with us. And Brian, what do we got in the pipeline coming up? You're gonna probably be at work next week for sure.
I'm not sure yet, but if I'm not, you will be the first person to find out.
Hell yeah. And guys, we want to say thank you to all of you guys, to our extraordinary listeners. We appreciate you. Don't forget to tune in every Sunday night with us here on the Average Boys podcast. Shout out to David at Adam Collectibles. Guys, don't forget to tune in on their website, where Nico also jumps in, and so do I myself. Brian, too, whenever he gets an opportunity. But that's Friday nights at 8 p.m. also. I want to say 8 p.m. And that one's like an hour show. So, guys, if you want to check it out, that's on Fridays, and then us on Sunday nights. We appreciate every one of you. We hope you guys have a great week. Go out there and kick butt at your jobs. Guys, be careful, because the heat down here is insanely crazy. Brian, I don't know if you've heard about all the crazy heat stuff that's going down here, but it's nuts, man. It's nuts. How's the heat over there? How are you guys weather-wise?
We did. Nice. It did look like it was going to break and become a little bit warmer, but now it's back to like rainy and shitty outside, so.
All right, well, let's hope we get some of that weather. Let's hope Brian can kind of push up some of that weather down here, man, so that way we can get cool. Next week, it's going to be really hot, so guys, you guys be careful out there. Make sure you guys stay hydrated, and we'll see you guys again here next Sunday, 8 p.m. here on the Average Boys podcast. We appreciate every one of you, and peace. Laters.